The long wait is over. Pro football returns tonight in earnest, and 9 to noon has finally returned to your iHeartRadio app, 97.3 The Game Radio Network, and YouTube and X. I'm Billy Schmidt. Armin Sarian's right there, and it is finally football season in America. It is a great day to be alive. It's a fantastic Thursday, and Armin, the long wait finally ends. After the Super Bowl concluded in Las Vegas, we embark on maybe the worst time where we have to sit around and dream and fantasize about our fantasy football teams, our favorite football teams, and those teams that, frankly, nobody gives a bleep about until Sunday when it's on. And you're going to watch it because it's 7 hours of commercial-free football starting Red Zone on Sunday. It starts tonight, Ravens and Chiefs. I cannot wait.
Indeed exciting, Billy. I can't wait for NFL to finally kick off. We're back. You know, it's bittersweet for me because you know how I feel about the summer. I like the summer. I mean, that first nip of fall in the air.
Oh, it's still warm out.
I don't like that. Yeah, but it's a precursor for things to come.
Wouldn't know about you. You're wearing a turtleneck and jeans, but you know, what it is.
It was 61 this morning when I got out of the house, or like 59 or whatever.
Yeah, sure, something like that.
It's gonna be
still
like 80.
warm.
It's
yeah, still
80.
gonna be a warm one.
It's gonna be colder tomorrow, though.
Gonna feel like football. It's gonna
70.
feel like football when the Packers kick off in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We'll feel like football down in Sao Paulo, even too.
It's gonna feel right, I guess, in that sense. Although, you know, I have to say goodbye to summer. I'll be honest with you, it didn't usually feels like a longer offseason to me. It didn't. Maybe because I don't know why the Super Bowl was memorable. It felt like yesterday. Super Bowl felt
one
quick.
One of the better Super Bowls we've had.
However,
no doubt about it.
Maybe that's, you know, I don't know if that's just a personal perspective. I mean, I had a lot going on this summer, so maybe that's why. But it didn't feel like that long of an offseason, but we're back now. You know, and that's what matters. That football is always the salve of the wound for me, which means fall and winter. Because I'm not, I mean, I know a lot of people around here are fall people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get the scarves on, get your pumpkin spice
Had some
latte.
pumpkin spice latte yesterday.
Get your, you know, get the leaves, get the fall
Absolutely.
pictures. Get your
pumpkins
turtle,
are out.
Sweaters in, you know, start shopping for pumpkins.
Yeah.
You know, start thinking about, you know, do I want to go the sweet
stocking up
route
on Halloween candies
or the chocolate route of the fun size? Do I want to go with the
Or are you going to get crazy? Did you have such a good year this year? You might be the house that goes full size candy.
You might. Yeah, that's wild.
That's not happening in Armin's house. Sorry. I apologize for skipping forward there. Okay.
That's a subject for next month. We'll talk about
Absolutely
that.
Is. Yes, it is.
We got to stop this.
I like that
we got to stop this full size candy bar stuff. That's the inflation I want to talk about this year. Okay.
Yeah, we got to table that conversation. More than anything, I think the fascinating part is you kind of glossed over it. I did talk about this long abyss that we had, this long off season. Talking to two individuals here. I'm Billy Schmidt. That's Armin Sarian, John Kuhn in Brazil with the team.
Doing the samba down there.
Ooh.
I would assume.
You'd assume.
He's
Okay.
just
we haven't gotten any digital assets and won't on X because of
you know,
some issues going on there. Maybe on Instagram. I also like that now we're getting all the beat writers to let us know, hey, man, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram.
Now we can pump up the Instagram.
Let's get the IG followers up, Matt Schneidman.
IG followers.
Oh, yeah. Wes Hod was on it as well. Everybody's going there. Why don't you follow me on Instagram?
I realized this morning, Billy, I'm kind of an idiot. Now, this wasn't the first time I thought that, but I thought maybe we can see, you know, I don't know what kind of cell reception John has.
Sure.
Should we just touch base with him? So I sent him an old DM there on Twitter. Well, Armin, if you read he deleted the DM. He's never going to see this. And then he's going to come waltzing, sambaing back here on Monday saying, Armin.
On Monday, he's going to read that.
I never saw it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So whatever at this point.
I did see the DM. I remember you saying, I'm just going to DM him. And I thought.
What am I going to WhatsApp him?
That's an interesting thought. Wait, he's trolling me. Waiting to see if I got it. Okay, so you just got it. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for him to respond to.
I didn't think about it. You know
however,
what I mean?
he definitely wants to get back at it. He definitely wants to get back and let you know. That is fantastic stuff.
Should I email him the link?
Yeah, just shoot him an email.
Maybe
see
if
it works.
Should I LinkedIn him? Can I find him on LinkedIn? How do you contact people when you can't text them or call them or you DM them on Twitter? You know, obviously Instagram, I guess, is the one.
Yeah, I don't DMs.
If John uses.
I don't think he's on Instagram. I don't think he's on Facebook. So this might be. He might just be gone.
Yeah,
we are now at the mercy of the international cell towers.
Yeah.
I said we could call out and so save him on the international calling. I got looked at like I had three heads.
Yeah, I mean, all you remember, like, I met this girl It's 2
Got an
a.m.
international calling card.
Yeah, international calling card. Those were the days, man.
Get a pen pal.
There
Be
you
able
go.
to find a couple. And no, it is awesome. The Packers are overseas. Football is back. But as we joke about the long offseason, for you and I, probably the shortest offseason, because it's not like neither of us had anything going on this year.
Nothing going
you
on.
had your first kid, got married, like
whatever.
It happens.
It happens.
Now we can get into the important stuff and into the football stuff.
Yes.
So the last game that we got to watch, Kansas City Chiefs are playing the first double overtime Super Bowl, beating the San Francisco 49ers for the second time in, I believe, check notes, 5 years in the Super Bowl. A glorious situation, an amazing game. And now they start here tonight against the team they had to beat on the road to get to the Super Bowl. Baltimore bolsters their backfield with Derrick Henry. They catch 3 tonight. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, last year when the Detroit Lions used the opening game in Arrowhead Stadium to catapult themselves all the way to the NFC title game, it was sans Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. Much different night here tonight at Arrowhead. More importantly, this is the first time that we'll be able to really be able to see. Now, we've had teams have the opportunity to do it before. Has any team had to do it going for a three-peat in the NFL? No team has ever done a three-peat. Teams have had the opportunity to try for it.
Yes.
But I don't know under this kind of attention and light
they haven't.
like the Kansas City Chiefs will right now.
They haven't. And this is the storyline this year, I think, is can the Chiefs three-peat? And there have been great teams in this NFL, in this league. Great franchises, great dynasties. That haven't been able to do it. The Cowboys fell short when they lost that game in the 94 to the Niners in the playoffs. Like, that was one of the biggest games of my youth. I remember is when they met in the playoffs. Cowboys fell short. The great Pittsburgh Steelers teams of the 70s fell short. The great Niners teams of the 80s fell short of 3 in a row. They could never dig in for a three-peat. Can this Chiefs team, in probably the hardest, most competitive parity era of the NFL? I think so, Billy. No doubt about it. Can they do it? Because if they do, it would be seen as the greatest accomplishment probably ever. And here's my problem with it, Billy. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm cheering against the Chiefs all year. The Chiefs are a nice story.
All year.
Laura's favorite
This
team.
cannot be a
Laura loves the Chiefs.
thing
It's
that is
hard.
liked in your household. Oh, yeah.
Laura loves the Chiefs, but I told her before, I said, as soon as McCole Hardman caught that ball, I said, it's over now. I can't have the Chiefs win 3 in a row. That's the Packers legacy and the Packers legacy only, and I have to protect that. So I'm cheering against the Chiefs all year. And any Packer fan out there should be cheering against the Chiefs this year as hard as any other team they cheer against. Vikings, Bears, Chiefs. You have to protect that legacy as a Packers fan. We cannot have this happen. I cannot have the Chiefs win 3 in a row because that's one of the great legacies the Packers have, and I need us to have those things.
Packers last team to three-peat, now only partially in the Super Bowl era. Last NFL championship prior to Super Bowl I, they won. So that is, I love that you are going to hold this as firmly as possible. How was that received? Because I don't know that many people are thinking that way. I know you are, and I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you're going to make sure that you plant that flag in the ground very firmly to remind folks
really
of
early.
the legacy.
I want people to think about it early. They probably weren't thinking that way. But when we're talking about our favorite teams, we're talking about legacies, in my opinion, right? We're talking about stacking up legacy awards, legacy accomplishments, so we can trash talk the rest of our lives that we have the best franchise. This is one of the things we can always do as Packer fans. Vince Lombardi, last team, the repeat. Vince Lombardi, Packers. I talk about the sham 20, what was it? What championship? 39? What year was it,
I think it was the 32 championship because 9-2-0-3 NFL titles, Packers in 29, 30, 31, 65, 66, 67. Again, full Super Bowl era. No team has ever won 3 consecutive Super Bowls.
And I was 65. I know there wasn't a Super Bowl, but the Packers were undisputed.
We're NFL champions.
By the football world as the pro football world champions. Okay. So 65, and it should have been a 4-peat if they didn't play that sham garbage
ridiculous 80-yard field in Chicago Stadium.
Chicago Stadium in 1930, whatever. So
32.
32. So that one fires me up, but that's okay. I'm gonna forget.
You're
about
gonna
that.
let them have that one, which is, I think, pretty big of you to do.
So 3 in a row is our legacy, and I don't want the Chiefs to have it. Now, I'm here telling you right now, if they do it, Billy, that would be the best accomplishment in NFL history. Winning 3 Super Bowls in this era would be the best accomplishment in NFL history. So many great teams, coaches, players, franchises could not dig in and do that 3 in a row in the modern era. They just couldn't do it. So
the other thing to really think about, and rarely are we able to fully understand, appreciate, and grasp how dominant a team is in one piece of an era, one dynasty and one dynastic run.
Yes.
Chiefs are a 21-3 blown lead at home in an AFC title game away from going to another Super Bowl, right? And they've been to now 4 of the last 5.
Yes.
Won 3 of them. And they would have been in every single one of them if it wasn't for Tyreek Hill not being able to complete that pass right before halftime. And then they were up 28-3. Like, to think about how close they were to being one of the most dominant organizations and runs that we've ever seen in the sport, it shows how thin the margins are. I think it also just exemplifies to what you're saying, just how difficult it is to do in today's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And reinvent the way that they've played. I do think there's going to be a lot more people, maybe not for your exact reason, but doing exactly what you're doing this year and cheering against Kansas City.
Yeah, it's nothing personal. I just want us to have that legacy.
Last year it started. This year, I think it fully flips to the villain.
Well, a lot of people liked making them the villain for other reasons. We know about that, right? But that maybe so, especially for Packer fans. Now, Billy, the margins are thin. They could have won those games. Now, it's fair to say this. It could go either way, right? Like, they could have easily lost that Bills game, that amazing Bills game in the divisional round when they
13
Bills
seconds
took
left.
the lead with 13 seconds left. They could have lost that game. I mean, and they could have, they could have lost the game when the Bengals took that lead. So it goes both ways.
Well, and hell, if Stephon Diggs catches a 70-yard seed from Josh Allen last year at Highmark Stadium, who knows if they get out of Buffalo? Like, it
is amazing.
It is the game, and it's one of the reasons why this game is right now the most popular entertainment sports entity in the world. Because, listen, it's one of the reasons why the Premier League in soccer is as popular as it is. You play once a week, you get an insatiable thirst for the game. And now we finally get to quench some of that thirst here today.
And it's amazing how small moments, small instances can decide who history thinks was the better team. I mean, when you even go back, Billy, we celebrate the 60s Packers like almost no other team's been celebrated. No era, no dynasty. And we should. But when you really think about 2 close plays against the Cowboys in 66 and 67, changing the course of history, the legacy, the Packers, Lombardi Trophy. It could have been the Landry Trophy if the Packers didn't complete that final drive in the Ice Bowl and get the sneak. If the Cowboys converted that 4th and goal in the 66 title game. Really, it could have been. I mean, think how close it is. But that's how close the margins is. And Billy, that's how great this game is. And the results are the results for a reason. We're going to celebrate, even though the margins are close. That's why if you come out ahead, you can triumph forever, saying no one can take this away because we accomplished that great thing. So as close as the margins were against the Chiefs and Bills, Chiefs overcame it every time, and that's what makes them great. The Packers overcame it every time in the 60s. That's what makes them great, right? That's kind of part of the story.
I'm messing up. I want to say maybe it was Dan Orlovsky that was saying, I can't exactly remember, but the obsessed word was the way that I heard for Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs idea of three-peating, right? Because the pressure to three-peat will be how people throw it out here.
Yes.
But I think the obsession is the best way of putting it because of what you just said there. It does not only for their team's legacy, but think about it for Pat Mahomes.
I mean, it could make him the GOAT. I mean, a lot of people.
It's the one thing that he would be able to have over Brady.
Over Brady, yeah.
That Brady would obviously never be able to do because Brady has one over him that he'll never be able to get back. 0-2 in the playoffs, right? Brady beats him in Arrowhead to go to the Super Bowl in his first year starting, beats him in the Super Bowl in Tampa the next year. Or 2 years later. So
and just in general, getting to 7 might be unrealistic for anybody.
7 might very much be unrealistic, especially to do with 2 different teams. We don't know that Pat's going to go to another team, but to have this one, especially so early, it firmly puts you in the conversation.
No, it has to.
There's no way you can be taken lightly with something that not only does Tom not have many people's favorite Joe Montana, who never lost one. Then you have 4, but you have that card that immediately puts you maybe not at the head of the table, but pretty damn close.
Close, and at least in the conversation where people will debate it then.
Yes, where it is a legitimate debate for
people
you.
aren't, mostly don't debate this Brady thing. Now, it's funny how we judge it, right? Because if it's just Super Bowls, like, Bradshaw at 4, but we know those teams are defensive. That's how people reason. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It would stratosphere Mahomes to that level, right? If that's the right term.
Yeah, it levels you. It levels you up,
right?
It levels you up. That's for sure. I mean, like you put a massive tier of Hall of Famers behind you at that point, right?
No
and
doubt
like,
about it.
And then it is you're almost clearly on the Mount Rushmore if you're able to do that. That's where the amount to gain, and I love those funny sports. We're laughing First Take. It's 100% a First Take topic. Who has the most pressure on them going into the 2024 season?
Right.
Well, everybody does.
Everybody has pressure.
Everybody does.
There's pressure for everybody in this league.
But understandably so, who has the most to gain from a legacy wise?
Yeah.
Hard to say the two quarterbacks that are playing here tonight don't.
No, that's a great point, Billy.
Lamar desperately needs to get over the hump.
We would all say he needs it because he hasn't gotten over the hump at least one time. And when you finally do it once, you can always be called a champion.
But
right?
if Pat Mahomes was sitting down with a bunch of Coors Lights in that very, very cool house in Kansas City that he talks about all the different times, I think he would potentially even throw his own name in there because of what we just talked about.
Because of what he wants to
be
accomplish.
able to do that.
Yeah.
It's an awesome deal. It's an awesome deal. I'm excited to be able to watch it.
And I'll say this, Billy, and this is maybe where I'll say that maybe there's a little more pressure or less pressure on one side. I think a game like tonight, NFL opener, every NFL game is important.
Yes.
But I think like game like tonight, or maybe in regular season games in general, and Mike Heller talked about this yesterday, the Chiefs will have their dip. There might be less pressure on the Chiefs now to win a bunch of regular season games than they've had in the past. They've had a level of playoff success to know that as long as they are in the playoffs, that's where their legacy is going to be decided, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the pressure to go 14-3 anymore and to prove themselves. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, because they had to prove themselves in a way that nobody thought that they were going to be able to do last year and go on the road.
And they've done this
and win those two.
And they've done this the last 3 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, and still succeeded where they haven't been perfect during the regular season, Billy. They've had struggles. They've won close games. They've had some losses.
Lost at home to the Raiders on Christmas Day.
They lost to the Packer. You know what I mean? There's games. I mean, so they knew that the biggest goal was still in front of them, and they didn't have the pressure of having to prove it every week to people.
No.
You know what I mean?
I do think tonight, however, they bring a different energy after last year's opener. Because I do think they take a little bit of umbrage as to how that opener went last year.
I agree.
Maybe I'm making too much of it.
I agree, and I think they want to win every game.
They want to win every game, especially a game against the Baltimore Ravens.
Shouldn't that also give them perspective to know that, like, we don't have to win? These are not the important ones.
Don't have to.
Like, but we want to.
But dang it, we want to.
Yeah.
We sure would like to. I'm very, very excited for it. Jason from Port, I'm rooting for the Pack first and Kansas City second.
Oh, really? So
then I want him to meet in the Super Bowl. Packers win it all and prevent the three-peat in New Orleans.
That's a Billy thing. It's like bring the Cubs on in the wild card. So
that is a total Billy story. Let's go, Jason.
Billy doesn't run from his nightmares. He wants the
run
moment.
Right to him.
He wants the moment.
Run right to him. 414-799-1973. That's not the number that was texted. That's the NicolaLaw.com talking text line, the number that you should be texting. John Kuhn has responded to us. He is on the team bus on the way to practice.
How about that? John's listening.
No Samba yet. People laugh when I say the iHeartRadio app's worldwide.
Oh, it's worldwide. It's not blocked in Brazil.
Not blocked in Brazil.
Let's go.
Elon can't do what we can. It's the iHeartRadio app, baby. You can take it anywhere, anytime, any place. And we are all the way down in Brazil as we are here on 9 to noon. John Kuhn with the Packers as they get ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to potentially, maybe, I don't know, be able to tap in with John at some particular point in time one of these next 2 days. If anything, you will hear him coming up on Friday night right here on your home for Packers football, 97.3 The Game. And in 40 minutes, you're going to hear the guy you hear on Saturdays call Wisconsin Badgers football. Did you know the Coyotes are coming to town?
Yes, sir.
2:30 on Saturday at Camp Randall Stadium.
South Dakota Coyotes.
South Dakota Coyotes, number 6 in FCS.
Yes, not to be confused with the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Different animal, different university.
But
South Dakota Coyotes, but
still a vicious animal coming in here.
Still a very vicious animal. Any Dakota's tough. We know that.
I don't want a Dakota on my schedule.
Yeah.
The Badgers have one. We're going to talk about it coming up with Matt LePay in about 40 minutes from right now. It's a Schmidt and Sarian experience. It's off and running. It's 97.3 The Game. It's Fox Sports 1070 The Game in Madison. WNFL. We're statewide, baby, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. It's 9 to noon. Football's back on the game. Now, if the Packers would have just sambaed right off the plane, that would have worked. I'd have liked just hearing some you just shaking the tail feather right on off the that way.
Hey, did you see how lit it was when they got off the plane?
Dude, it was awesome. First off, need one of those. I wonder if John got one of the sweet white jumpsuits that everybody was rocking. Hearing and getting to feel the electric factory that was the Packers getting to Brazil yesterday was fantastic.
So awesome. I love the energy. I love. You can tell these are people that are fans that are going to go their whole lives. One moment, 100%. I mean, can you imagine getting this line and watch the Green Bay Packers come off the plane? There was a movie called Mystery Alaska. It was an okay movie. And it's like, it was an okay movie. It's about a small town in Alaska. It's fictional. Sure. That had like, open bird hockey. Okay. And they got the Rangers to come. And here comes the New York Rangers. Imagine, having the Green Bay Packers. I never expected to see. I mean, it's just awesome.
American football players.
I love it. They had, there's been so much from some people knowing, like negativity around this trip.
No way. People being negative?
Right. Nah, man, come on. Let's talk about the good things
I'm with you on that. With you on that. It's exciting, man. It's a great time. I was loving being able to. We were talking about it yesterday. Tyler Herrick was in his bag from Cheesehead TV, was all over it. The Packers Brazil Twitter account, they have to be having themselves their best day of all time. Like the amount of media that the Packers though are about to do here today is wild. Like to think that you go through a full week for Super Bowl media day on Monday is the opening night. You have a full week's worth of the lead up. That's kind of how this is being taken. I would assume down in Brazil as their first ever American football game to kick off. Two legendary franchises.
Gotta be the
as
biggest
well
thing.
Today. They have a long time meeting with the American media, but then there's a big press event for everybody from South America, not only Brazil, but I mean, it's going to be a day for the green and gold and the Philadelphia Eagles once they get off the practice field today.
And man,
a lot of questions.
Something about seeing the team and Mark get off that plane. Like,
Mark Murphy strolling right off,
love it,
enjoying the heck out of it.
Hi, everybody.
Mark Murphy. Here's a little. This is what I'm talking about. Let's go get some. Woo!
Let's go, Matt LaFleur.
Let's go, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, I just love the energy.
Dude, it was awesome. That start, the Jordan Love one, I mean, if that video doesn't have 18 million views by the time this thing kicks off tomorrow, I think I've watched it 1,800 times.
Oh man, the
accent is so good.
It's right here.
Dude, it's an amazing blend. It's an amazing blend of Sopranos as well. Like, and it just, I love it. Let's go and kick some ass this weekend.
It's so good because, the translation, the translation's not exactly how you would say the trash talking, but you can feel the passion, man.
You can feel the power in the voice. That's what you needed to. And I also love my man's voice changing in all the different interactions, right? He then goes and talks to Jair Alexander because Jair's enjoying it, right?
He loves it.
He's dancing a little bit.
Yeah.
He's celebrating.
No, that's
so we get a little laughs. Come on now.
Jair's waving.
Now business. Let's go, Matt LaFleur.
I need more videos. Like I gotta find more.
I want a live stream.
I gotta find more Brazilian fans. It reminds me of our guy. Who was our guy?
I wonder if that's him.
That's probably him, dude. Because he's probably front and center doing the Brazilian videos. I know he's kind of been front and center representing the Brazilian fan base.
Now that one was actually posted by the NFL, I believe.
That was an NFL video. So obviously they've got
dude, the amount of people that are living their absolute best football lives in Brazil. We're very, very happy for you. We share this game. Now I know there, like you said, there are a lot of people that are negative about it. There are a lot of people that don't love this.
Look at I'm not even reading the comments. I'm not putting a hazmat suit on to read the comments on this tweet. Okay, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. More than anything, listening to Roger Goodell yesterday, he was on with the McAfee guys discussing this trip. This is a big swing for the NFL, right? Like, I mean, I think we've all known that this was a big risk potentially for the NFL. The get back might not be as large as people would assume, right? The full return on the investment, but there is a huge American football. And the amount of teams right now that are trying to find ways to bridge marketing deals across the globe, that's one of the biggest parts of this, right? And he talked pretty openly about how Netflix and the streaming ability of Netflix is one of the big reasons why they will play games on Christmas Day every single year, because Netflix can bring it to 300 million subscribers around the world instead of just people that are here and can watch it on free TV. So he's like, 85% of our games are still on free television.
Yeah, I know that. I know these are the spins. We still have games on free TV. We're doing
85% of our games are on free TV. Way more than the NBA, way more than baseball, like combined.
It's because you have less games. I mean, yeah. But
100%. He threw the spin zone on real quick, and they were eating it up there yesterday.
Yeah.
But I fully embrace, and I don't mean to force like anybody to feel that they should as well, but like seeing the game of football and how much I personally love it, I want to have other people experience that part of it.
Absolutely.
And it's one thing that you and I have said this a lot, and the Milwaukee Admirals have allowed us to fully embrace and understand how great the sport of hockey is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it until I was inside and was up against the glass,
experiencing it,
and had one guy's teeth almost into my grill when he got bumped up against the boards. And I'm like, this is the greatest game I've ever seen.
Yeah, man.
So you realize such a different appreciation for the sport when it's live and in person. It's going to be big for the NFL, whether or not it's the biggest number initially. Where this is going, it's only going to continue to grow. And they wanted to take this swing to go to South America. And I would not be surprised if this is something that happens many more times, as long as there are no hiccups.
Well, you already know that they're embracing overseas games. I mean, they've done London, obviously. They're going to Europe. They've done Mexico City, right? I mean, so these things already occur. They'll probably go to Australia one day, Billy, unless they already have it. I don't realize it. Sometimes it's easy to forget all the places they've gone.
Well, in this version of the international series, they have never gone into the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah,
they have in different one-off preseason tilts, I believe, but I'll have that fact for you at some point.
But the point is that this is obviously something they're committed to, growing a global 100%. Game, a global brand. And I don't know, we obsess over market size in American sports. We obsess over it here in Milwaukee. You want to mess with a market size? This is the market size. I mean, Sao Paulo is a top 5 worldwide population city. I don't know if people realize that sometimes, that it's bigger. This is the biggest market in the entire Americas, North, Central, and South America.
Wow.
This is bigger than New York. I mean, they're bigger than New York City population wise. So,
that's hard to wrap your mind around.
However you feel about it, I understand there's concerns with it. I'm 100%, confident the NFL would take the precautions it would take to keep their people safe, to keep everyone safe and let everyone enjoy it. We travel the world every 2 and 4 years for the Olympics. Okay. This is part of what we do in the world of sports. I think it's, we were in Rio, in 2016. So, I think it's something to embrace. I'm excited for it. And I'm excited to show the entire country and continent how the Green Bay Packers get a dub. Let's be honest. Let's roll up and get a win.
Show them how we get down.
Yeah.
Show them how you get a big-time win against an NFC team that you're going to want to get a win against the Philadelphia Eagles. Like stacking this thing up, and Armin Sarian, if his homework assignment is in.
Yes. I do have it in.
Of his NFL predictions.
I had 2 assignments last night.
Oh, that's true. You did have 2 assignments.
I had 2 assignments.
And one is due in an hour from right now.
Yes, indeed.
The return of a lot of Nooner's favorite thing comes back.
We have a big return of something coming back here. Yeah.
We'll find out coming up in a little while.
Redundant by me.
10:35. But listen, we like the fact that you're getting some homework done. Your homework for your NFL predictions, we're going to get into coming up. We're going to get to Matt LePay in about 20 minutes as well. We're going to get into this Philadelphia Eagles football team on the other side because a lot of things to like about what the Packers did the offseason. We've talked about one of the headliners that the Eagles did this year in Saquon Barkley. The contracts they doled out outside of Barkley might show exactly what you can expect to see from the Eagles coming up tomorrow. A different outfit than prior years, definitely than 2 years ago when they were in a Super Bowl, last year when they were 10-1 and then down their leg the rest of the season and quickly out of the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll have all of it coming up. It's 9 to noon. That's Armin Sarian. I'm Billy Schmid. We're statewide on the game. Matt LePay in 20 minutes. Stay with us. Guys, NFL football returns tonight. That means the Underdog Fantasy app returns to the main screen. It returns to being one of my favorite apps on my phone. And you can make money making picks on Underdog Fantasy. The best part is it's super easy to do. And it's even easier to track your picks, right? I'm talking about higher or lower on player receptions, yards, completions, touchdowns. Now, some are scored statistics, which multiply your odds. Makes it a little easier to make even more money. Join in the fun, and you could win up to 300 times your money just picking higher or lower on your favorite football player stats this year. Best part is the app is always updating you on letting you know how close your picks are to hitting and knowing how close you are to making some of that cash. Making picks on Underdog is super easy. It's even easier to get started. Download their app today. Go to underdogfantasy.com if you can and sign up with promo code Billy, Billy. And Underdog will give you a highly discounted pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Plus, going to give you a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Billy, to claim your new customer special of a gimme first pick and your deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash for first-time users. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. That's gonna keep 9 to noon on the game. Talking Packers football, a day away from their open of the NFL season tonight. Chiefs and Ravens on NBC, getting a lot of people, and I understand the frustration. I do with the streaming version of the game. Packers game will be on Peacock tomorrow. In Milwaukee and in Green Bay, it'll be on the NBC affiliate.
Yes.
Rest of the state, it won't be. Best part is we got the best broadcast for you here on the game, on 97.3 The Game and Packers Radio Network across the state of Wisconsin, and reaching into parts of the Dakotas, a little bit of Iowa, right? I mean, we're stretching all across for Packers Radio Network where you can hear it.
Got affiliates in North and South Dakota.
Yeah.
I know we've got one in northeastern Illinois or northwestern Illinois.
Yep, northwestern Illinois. So dips into Iowa.
We're out there, Bismarck. We hear you.
Yeah.
Pierre, I think. Pierre's, I don't know. We hear you out there, though.
Is Pierre, South Dakota that's the capital?
I don't know if that's the affiliate, though. I have to look at the map, the affiliate map that we have. But the point is, we really stretch out wide. You can find us, and we're going to actually be there. Our guys.
See, this is the thing.
Our guys are going to be. I mean,
we actually have boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Thank you. Boots on the ground. Not everyone's there.
No, not everyone's there on the radio side. Not tooting our own horn. Maybe we might be the only ones there. We're very, very excited to bring this game to you. The Packers are taking this extremely seriously. We are as well. We're very excited for the Packers to start this thing up against the Eagles. I do understand. I don't mean to minimize it. I do. It's frustrating. I get it. However, it's not changing, right? Like, there are only going to be more games on different streaming services. There are only going to be, especially Peacock. And this is the interesting one to hear Goodell talk about yesterday, Armin, with McAfee, where he said streaming services that we have vested interest in. Because he's like, well, yeah, if somebody's going to give us a bunch of money, they don't have an audience, we're not going to do it. We can make a bunch of money somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? The Netflix deal, they get a bunch of money from Netflix, but Netflix globally brings them to people that otherwise they would not be a part of, that they would not be able to reach. Now, Peacock was in its infancy, but they have a massive deal with NBC.
Obviously, they're with NBC, right?
It was a very, very important thing for the NFL for that to work, right? So shockingly, they're going to keep loading things up on Peacock. And then you can keep griping about it because now NBA games are going to be on Peacock. And I know that you were really, really upset that Australian table tennis game was on Peacock during, was it a game or a match?
For Olympics?
In the Olympic? Yeah.
I guess it'd be a match. It would be a match, yeah.
That one that everybody, the one that you really desperately wanted to watch, that one was on Peacock. But it's not going back, right? Like, and the changing, in the ever-changing landscape of broadcast television and how quickly that is evolving in front of us, I don't know what it looks like in 10 years, but I do know that all of these streaming services are going to be a part of it. Doesn't mean that you have to go watch, right? I'm not making fun of anybody for saying, hey, I'm going to go to the bar and watch because I'm not paying for it. I hope they have it. I do know that there are plenty of ways that if you are very, very upset and can't watch it, cancel it right away, right? Like, I mean, it's very quick and easy to go to, but I also do like Peacock.
I promise you spend $6 on worse. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
Very much so. Now, very much so.
Now, I go both ways on this, Billy. You know, I don't like the idea of everything being streamed. My gripe is more convenience. I know that sounds silly in a lot of ways.
No, totally is.
It's not as convenient
not being able to
switch between games.
For sure.
I mean, it takes longer to fire up every time you want to stream it and every time you want to find your login and all that stuff.
Yes, totally.
But it's not like, come on, you spent a lot worse. Okay, let's just say, and there's other content on Peacock. There's other stuff to watch.
Like Modern Family?
There's shows. There's stuff out there. So I understand it's frustrating.
Still waiting for you to tap in on WWE,
right?
But you still haven't.
That might be a thing. I mean, I was hoping I'm trying to rewatch Mad About You still. I'm trying to find.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen Mad About You in a while. I got to do a rewatch of Mad About You, but it's not on Peacock, actually. I thought it would be. My point is, I do understand why people get frustrated about it. They feel it's a tradition. It should be on live TV, not having to find different apps. And it does get tiresome, burdensome, where you have to keep looking for different apps. That's fair. I understand. I get it. I go both ways on it. But it's something like, once you do it, it's not the end of the world. Like,
Mad About You, a television sitcom starring Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt.
You don't know about Mad About You?
No clue.
Yeah,
as young. A married couple in New York City. Okay. What one of these sitcoms in the 90s didn't start with a couple in
In New York City, I know everything was. No, that's a funny.
Oh my gosh, there's 5-6 friends in New York City.
It's a joke, and it's true. Everything was New York all the time. I mean, not all of them, but yeah.
It's just one guy in a public eye, and he's got 3 friends that are all really, really funny.
I get it. You're right. That is true. It was always New York. It is kind of funny, but
no, I think the other part of it is
the Cosby Show's in New York. I mean, listen, the heyday of the American sitcom was that era.
And let's find New York City and let's throw another couple in here that happens to be the most entertaining that you can possibly have. That's why I like Full House. Throw them on the other coast. That was the East-West Coast thing now. You know, and then I got people from the East Coast. Don't like me? Well, no, I didn't say that. I kind of like.
No. This is mad about you, remember? No.
You can tell me this is taking me to the 18th floor at the Sheridan in West Bend, and I would have no clue.
Fair enough. I know. I mean, that was just a nice show. I thought about it, but that's not the point.
Oh, here we go. Now we got all the Helen Hunt lovers.
Oh yeah, you were a fan of Helen Hunt that series. It was a good series. That was a good time, buddy. And yes, every sitcom.
See, and now, yes, I do know that Step by Step was shot in Port Washington. Yes, I do know that that 70s show takes place in Wisconsin. Yes.
Actually, Wisconsin had a couple, Laverne and Shirley.
Yes. Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days. Yes, we do know those. Yes,
you know, Step, we don't have enough time in this segment. We don't have enough time in this show, basically, for me to get into the Step by Step thing. But if anyone out there wants to chop it up about Step by Step, I'm your guy.
Yeah, you are the guy.
All-time favorite of that show. And I'm an all-timer on that show, so we can do it off air. All right.
How about Luke in Wausau? One quick plug for Peacock. He goes, I don't get the complaining about Peacock. If you got kids, it's great. I love that more than sports is going on there. They actually have adorable stuff on there for now.
It's a lot of there's a lot of programming until it gets taken away. No, I think I understand it in terms, Billy, and I've said it again. I'll finish with this. It is tough to be convenient with it. When I grew up and I could flash back between CBS, Fox, AB, all the shows on my channel to go from game to game quick, it was easier.
Yes, that's by far easier.
That's the tough part. So wait for it to spin around and stuff. But listen, this is the world we live in. Let's just embrace it, right?
No doubt about it. 414-799-1973. And you might be able to watch, you're going to watch some Wisconsin Badger games on Peacock as well. So it's not just Packers football you get. And it's not just Packers conversation you get here on 9 to noon. It's Badgers conversation when we talk red and white with the voice of the red and white, Matt LePay, voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, talks Badgers and Coyotes because they're coming from South Dakota. 2:30 kick on Saturday at the camp. We'll discuss it with Matt LePay right after this on 9 to noon. Hopefully jumping on the field on the sideline with the red and white more on Saturday than it was on the opener against Western Michigan. Welcome back. Hour 2, 9 to noon. I'm Billy Schmid, Armin Sarian right there. Armin, play nice here on this part of the segment, all right? And just can you put the Golden Eagle shirt away?
I always do when Mr. LePay's on, all right?
You didn't have it on before. You just decided to go throw on a 32 Marquette jersey, but that's fine. That works out. I'm kidding.
Making stuff up out here.
Misinformation.
Yeah, misinformation out here. You know.
Well, listen, we were passing around misinformation because apparently sitcoms are not only in New York, not only in Port Washington.
Oh, don't even start with Matt. I'm sorry, Matt.
Married with Children was in Chicago.
Yeah, I get it. Before we get to start with Matt, really quick. Listen, I understand there were other sitcoms.
There were other sitcoms in other cities.
The joke, man, is that the majority of sitcoms in the 90s seem to center around New York. You don't think I know about sitcoms in the 90s? Try again. Ask around. All right. Your boy knows a lot about it. I understand there were other sitcoms that took place in other places, but we were making a joke that the majority were.
The majority,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get to Mr.
Now everybody
LePay.
chill out. This is a Hall of Famer, and he had to listen to far too much of that rant than we are proud of. However, it sounded like it got a little bit of a chuckle out of there. Matt, we appreciate it as always here, getting ready for games. There's always a reaction and a overreaction to the first thing said, right? Like first thing of, sitcoms are always in New York. Well, you're an idiot. That's not it. There's always going to be overreactions of the first time you get to see the 2024 Wisconsin Badgers. And even though there was a win, I think there's many people that are excited to see maybe a little bit more coming up on Saturday at 2:30.
Well, first of all, that all those sitcoms on the East Coast, just the latest example of East Coast bias.
There you go.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just it's just never going to stop. The game
Never stops.
Yeah, I think we were on this segment last week, and I was telling you guys and Kuhn, it'd be great if not only they won the game but looked really good doing it. Well, they checked the first box, they won the game. They did, there were some things that they did well, but there were other things that they didn't do so well, and that I understand the angst of Badger fans right now. It is game one. I try to look at it a little bit less with the emotion. I've seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Drew and KB this earlier in the week. I've seen Wisconsin teams have one-score games against SMAC teams. They had a 5-point game against Northern Iowa. I think it was like 15 years ago or so. They've had these before. Some years they go on and have really good seasons, and some years they're Joe average. I remember Chris McIntosh was on the team. They played Boise State before they became Boise State. They're the team that beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. They were about to lose the game. I mean, it was over. And the quarterback, Mike Samuel, made a play, avoided a sack. They went down and beat Boise State by 4. And someone asked Barry Alvarez after the game, "Are you embarrassed?" And, at that point, ball coach just puffed his chest out as he would do from time to time and said, "No, you're happy with the win. You move on. You have things to improve on." And they ended up having a pretty good year that year, and eventually went on to win a couple Rose Bowls after that. So long-winded answer to your question. I get the angst, but let's see how Saturday plays out. See how from Saturday, so on and so forth.
Well, and just see how Saturday played out. I thought that was a great reaction to week one because, let's see how Saturday plays out and watch Oregon in a 1-score game against the Vandals of Idaho,
Great
right?
Point.
Michigan State was in a sweater late. Like Michigan didn't look convincing until they did late. Like it is difficult when it's week one, and then there's also people that say, "Well, oh my God, Iowa now can score points against Illinois State from the Valley," and then you get to prove yourself again here this week. I just liked being able to see parts that we've been excited to see, right? And Matt, obviously, Tyler Van Dyke is the one that everybody wants to discuss. I thought the running backs and the running game they committed to it, which I know Tausch has talked about. He was really high, as I am, on this offensive line. I think they played a lot of football. I think they can be much better than they were a year ago. I thought they controlled it, even though they weren't able to cash in early. I thought they really controlled the line of scrimmage and did play the way they wanted to in that respect.
I felt a couple times during the game that they were on the brink of breaking it open, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
when we've seen, fans have seen this the last few years where they're moving the ball between the 20s but can't punch it in. Now, to their credit, they did in the fourth quarter. They got the big break on the muffed punt, and were able to, they had to cover 20 yards. They did. And then they got a 4th and 1 stop. They got that done, went 50 yards for a score. They were able to finish. But earlier in the game, you're settling for 3 field goal tries, and this one make 2. And that, the lack of big plays is really noticeable. And that's what's going to be really interesting to see beginning Saturday. And then obviously when conference play starts, get a little bit easier on yourself. 16 play drives are great now and then, but you need to be able to pop some big plays, be it via the pass, via the run, whatever. And that's really been lacking with this team here for the last few years. So until or unless that happens, it's going to continue to be really tough for this team, as well as Malusi and Tawi Walker ran the ball, and they did run it really well.
Yeah.
But that's a big ask to go 16 plays, 80 yards time and again. It could wear a defense out, but it could also take a toll. Billy, I think everybody involved out there.
Red zone efficiency and big plays in football really affect perception and reality. And I'm curious if you agree, because when you just look at the numbers on their face, 27 first downs, a very balanced offense yardage-wise, I think 180-ish in passing and rushing. The offense, you take numbers all the time with teams like that normally, but obviously the point is to score points for offenses. And it kind of reminds me of the Packers, I believe it was 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, where they were really good inside the 20s, but for some reason or another struggled to score points. And that affected the perception. And of course it affected the result because the ultimate, but it doesn't mean that the entire thing is broken, this and that. And it's such a week-to-week game. There were positives in that if you choose to look at it that way.
Yeah, we were talking with Luke Fickell on his radio show last night. He was saying it was a weird game. First half they had 3 possessions, but he thought, okay, what would I change? I mean, they wanted to run the ball. That was an emphasis, kind of a carryover from the end of the regular season last year. They wanted to be able to establish the run. They know that you've got to be able to pop big plays, and whatever is missing once they get to the 20, where guys can't get open. Tyler Van Dyke didn't throw an interception, but he got away with at least a couple. That could have been. He knows that. So it's some better decision making when you get deep into the opponent's territory. But yeah, I don't think I agree. I mean, it's not like you got to tear down the house and completely start over.
Right.
But it's a mystery that they have to solve here, and hopefully for their sake this week, to just get them feeling better about where they are going into the big boy games with Alabama and then USC at the end of the month. And Fickell, kind of typical of a defensive coach too, wasn't real thrilled with some things on that side of the ball. But when you run 30 more plays than the other guy, you would hope to be able to put the points on the board like that.
Yeah.
And you're right. You got to score. You college football, NFL as well. Just relying on scoring in the teens or even the college game, in the 20s, you're only going to win a certain number of games. You're not going to be what you ultimately want to be until you can consistently get into the 30s and maybe even upper 30s in today's world.
Hall of Fame voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, and also fantastic on television. You missed him doing his live hit after the game on Friday night, Armin, on the field. Lance Allen and I were able to get a really good bird's eye view of Matt killing it on TV there. I want to get back to
it. Was epic.
It was amazing. It's teach tape is what we talk about it and how coaches would say it. Matt, I want to get back to this one in a second, but just overall, where do you think the future is for these games, these bye game styles in college football? Because they have such a place. They're so vital to teams like Western Michigan. I mean, they took a trip here last week. Now they're in Columbus as 38-point dogs coming up on Saturday. They're important to the sport. I just don't know with how much and how emphasized early games might be in your playoff resume. Where do you see the ability for these to stay on the schedule in the future?
I think, Billy, it's even beyond playoff resume. I mean, we all know this. If it's our industry or if it's sports, it is more and more about revenue and watching expenses wherever you think you need to. And, these are buy games, BUY. We see it in basketball all the time, more of them. They wrote a pretty sizable check to Western Michigan. They're going to write a check to South Dakota. These are the kind of games, and I'm a believer, and I'm a dinosaur, I guess. If you can help these programs, these are very important games for the South Dakotas and the Western Michigan.
Very.
But if you're a network television partner, if your school's looking to watch your expenses, it's something that I do wonder about. Moving forward, these guys, they got the home and home with Alabama this year and next. They're going to play Notre Dame and a couple of years up at Lambeau. They have those kind of games. They got the series with Pitt, a game here, and then going to Ireland in a few years. I just wonder whether we're going to see more of those type of non-conference games and maybe less of what's coming up. I don't know that for a fact, but just knowing the direction in general, college athletics. I mean, you're trying to gather revenue. Remember, you got to pay past athletes going back to 2016. With the court case, you got revenue sharing going into place next year, which could be between $20 and $22 million up to that schools will directly pay athletes. You've got that challenge, not just here, but everywhere, of trying to come up with ways, well, if we could cut this expense, that expense. I don't know, but it's something that is definitely worth thinking about. And like I said, I always circle back to TV. If you're Fox, CBS, Peacock, whatever, what would you rather present to your viewing audience?
Oh, yeah.
A Power 4 versus a Power 4, or what we will see Saturday, as good as South Dakota is, which pretty good team, I think, and Western Michigan obviously gave these guys problems. But for eyeballs, appeal, it's something that is definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this uncharted future presents all these, new economic challenges for college football.
Big time.
How they can gather revenue, how much money will be needed to compete, all these things. And traditionally, those buy games, were a great economic model to pay the bill for both schools, right? In a way, and it still can be. But I would say this: if fans are frustrated, in theory, because of expanded playoffs and the expanded kind of major conferences, you should get higher quality heavyweight matchups more than you ever were going to get, right? So I that's the flip side of that.
No, it absolutely is. I mean, stadiums or arenas, there's more and more premium seating. It's not just here, it's any number of places. So with that, the price tag goes up.
Right.
And I mean, this is a great year to be a ticket holder at Wisconsin, knowing you got Alabama here, you've got Oregon, Penn State, the rival game with Minnesota, even though that's on a Friday right after Thanksgiving, which probably doesn't go over great with some people, but still,
it's going to be fun.
It's a home schedule that's really attractive as opposed to some other years where you're like, meh. So if there's that one, if you get that one non-conference game in particular, that's a showcase, maybe two down the road. Yeah, even better. It's part of the challenges right now. And unfortunately, if all of this comes to fruition, and I don't know that it will, but I do worry about the Northern Illinois, the Northern Iowas, the Western Michigans of the world. What will it mean to them? And that's part of the great unknown here, is this whole college model gets reshaped.
Yeah, and people act like they don't think that the MAC schools like Tuesday night MACtion. No, they love Tuesday night MACtion. If it means that they're on ESPN and that they can get some money into the conference, it's a great thing for them. So they'll find ways, but they're going to have to get creative with it. Matt, this Coyotes team that comes in here, they were a bit of a wagon last year outside of South Dakota State, which just ran all over FCS. They were pretty legit until the Bison of North Dakota State came in there and smacked the daylights out of them in the playoffs. What's the sentiment here? They play a D2 school in their first game. So even though people are saying, yeah, these high teams are just beating up on the small ones, well, the FCS ones are also doing it as well. So how are you preparing for this? Because this has got to be very, very difficult for you.
Yeah, they're sixth. They're ranked sixth this week in a couple of the FCS polls. And the one thing that before I started looking at them even last week and thinking, okay, FCS team, they're probably undersized. And I'm looking at their offensive line: 315, 310, 305, 300, 320, big boys, tackle to tackle, and it's much the same on the defensive line as well. And they're a team that will run the ball and run it a lot. They've got a pretty good 1-2 punch, it looks like, back there as well. So yeah, this is the one thing I was talking with Luke about this yesterday, and basketball coaches have said this for a while now. When you get these BUY games, maybe there was a time when those teams would come into an arena or a stadium and be really wide-eyed, like, wow, what am I walking into?
Sure.
No, I know it's not the case in basketball anymore, and I
Yep.
think it's maybe less and less the case with football. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't, they're going to run into somebody that's going to beat them by a lot, like what Alabama did last week to its opponent and what Ohio State did to its opponent. But I don't think those teams lose because they're freaked out by walking into the Kohl Center or Fiserv Forum to play Marquette or Camp Randall to play football against Wisconsin. So that part I think has definitely changed. And there is that, cliche as it is, that chip on your shoulder. I'm the quarterback who was overlooked, or their quarterback is a transfer, Aiden Bauman from Iowa State. Say, all right, let me show you. Let me show you Power 4 schools what I got. So they look at it that way, and every now and then you see something crazy happen, and that's what I think Wisconsin's trying to avoid this week.
Well, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a really, really exciting game, and more importantly, I'm excited to get to see Jake Chaney and these inside linebackers more. Lowry was exhilarating to watch. They got some speed over there, Matt. That is definitely real. Like you did not undersell or oversell, I should say, what they brought in on that linebacker spot. Definitely seems like some different players over on that side.
Yeah, they do. I think they would love to get a little bit more heat on the quarterback. Credit to Western Michigan. They were able to, their quarterbacks that would get the ball out of his hands, and they didn't really throw deep either, much like Wisconsin. But yeah, and I thought, I felt like I was calling Jaheim Thomas quite a bit, making some big hits, and yet Billy, one of the biggest plays of the game, it was made by someone who's dealing with a pretty heavy heart these days, Aaron Witt, who gets the stop on 4th and 1. He had lost his mom to cancer just 5 days prior, and they'll have the celebration of life for her after the season. This is one of her last requests, from what I understand. But a guy like him to be able to overcome his own injury history, which is extensive, to make a big play like that was a lot of fun. But the newer guys, you're right, Lowry, Pius, and Jaheim Thomas, not to mention Tawee Walker at running back. You can see why, once they went into the portal, that the Wisconsin coaches really liked those guys and thought they'd be great fits here.
Yeah, what a story Witt is. And just in the moment that you had the stories and the background of the injuries, that background story of his mother is just remarkable, and shows why the reaction was what it was from everybody else in red when he made that play, for how much it meant to him. Matt, really appreciate it, man. Excited for Saturday, and I'll see you at the camp.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
That is Matt LePay, voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, Hall of Famer, joining us here, and you're going to hear that game coming up. 12:30, Mike Heller show is the pregame. Now, Mike Heller's pregame, people say that his radio show apparently has been voted the most boring on the radio station.
Oh, boy, how about that? I didn't hear about that. Okay.
This one not.
Yeah, no.
His pregame show,
great, fantastic stuff.
Electric Factory. That comes up at 12:30 live from Camp Randall. Matt and Tausch take it from there. And then myself and my man Hollywood Lance Allen and I fire that postgame show up. With local Wisconsin UP4 Dealers postgame show is a elite experience from the broadcast booth. Love that they let us do it from there, and love to be able to talk about that game with the red and white after they take out the Coyotes. Let's take out. That's a dangerous animal.
No, you got to
Coyotes are
attack them early.
scary. All right, you got to bag them early.
You got to get them early. You can't underestimate them either. That's the other thing with Coyotes.
I don't want, like there was a week ago, I don't want the visiting sideline to be jumping more than the home sideline during jump around.
And I just got a feeling the Badgers will have a more crisp, and more, better offensive explosion this week. I just think things are going to go better this week. You always get those first game jitters out of the way. It could be a struggle. You get the win.
Maybe one or two big plays. We would like that.
Yeah. I think things are going to be better this
We'd
week.
like something of 20 yards or more.
Uh,
That would help. We would be a big fan of that. All right, 414-799-1973. Armin,
Billy,
are we ready?
I think we're ready to go here.
Are we ready?
Are we going to do it here? Let's just do it here. 10:30. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We're bringing it back. Here we go.
it's back. It's back and better than ever. What does Billy know is returning to 9 to noon?
Let's go, baby.
It is back and potentially better than ever thanks to our friends at Tap-In Golf Bar from Waukesha and in Sussex. It returns after the timeout. You already know the drill.
Yes, get those texts in. How many will Billy get right?
Between 1 and 10.
Yes.
And Armin, I know that people know the drill because we still, since we stopped doing What Does Billy Know, to give you a nice mental hiatus break and generating all these fantastic questions.
You know, I didn't need that break.
You need a little
I
timeout.
was starting to run out of really good questions. No, they weren't bad questions. They were good questions.
They were
I don't
good
wanna-
questions.
I'm starting to run out of questions, but I was like, all right, now I got a whole new crop of ideas to go
So
with.
Armin has some elite questions. You've been sending in guesses all this time, so fire them in now. 10:30 will close the talking text line. How many will I get right, and what does Billy know? 414-799-1973. One of the favorites on the talking text line returns right after this. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Post Labor Day means we're looking at baseball playoffs, and the baseball season in Milwaukee has been a welcome surprise. We're talking new manager, some important pieces went elsewhere, and yet they've had this outstanding season. And Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always finishes first in the window and door leagues. Pella manufactures all their own products. Each one of those products gets tested thousands of times to ensure it stands the test of time. Their quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella product for timeless beauty and performance. Pella windows and doors are the best in their class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. And now for something you almost can't believe. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. But you have to hurry. This deal only lasts until September 30th. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. And please, when you go in, let Gina Della know that John Kuhn sent you. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Been waiting a long time for it. I know many have. It returns. What does Billy know is back on 9 to noon.
Yes.
Armin Sarian stacked up with questions.
Yes.
And we are excited to discuss and tell you about Tap In Golf Bar. The
Let's go.
prize today, 1 free hour of simulator time at Tap In Golf Bar
Awesome.
in Waukesha and in Sussex.
Tell me about that place.
My favorite
Billy.
part about it here, Armin, for their Tap In Golf Bar leagues, which I'm going to be joining coming up in their second session.
Oh, really?
Their first session comes
Okay.
up October to December.
Okay.
So plenty of time for you still to sign up for
Yeah.
leagues. But it's not like Wednesday night at 6, I got to go play.
Not like a bowling league type of thing.
No, you pick the time to play. It doesn't have to be the assigned day of the week
Oh, you
at
just
any given time.
You kind of like log into your
You
league.
log into your time.
Oh, that's
you and your
awesome.
partner can go whenever you can play. So, hey, man, we can play on Thursday at 3:30.
Yeah.
Let's get over there, reserve the simulator.
Get the sticks out. You know,
It's gonna be
swing.
It's gonna be a tough week. What if we go late on Tuesday night, 8:30?
Why
Boom.
not?
Let's
Boom.
reserve the simulator
Let's
time.
go.
That's the best way, as well as they got a championship round, crowns a champion between the winner of at the Sussex location, winner at the Waukesha location. They play at the end to determine the true tap-in winner of the session. It's a great season, a great time to be in a league at Tap In Golf Bar. And also, this is why I like indoor golf.
Okay.
Now, you know me that I don't have a whole lot of time to play 4 hours of golf.
Right.
all
It's
the
tough.
time.
It's tough with our schedules and stuff like that. Yeah.
You're playing the best courses in the world, which otherwise I can't afford to fly to and go to.
Don't get a chance to go fly to Pebble Beach, Billy, and all
No,
these fancy places.
No, can do it at Tap In Golf Bar, and I don't have to wait 6 holes for the bev cart to come.
No, you don't. No, you
Full
don't.
service sports bar right in the middle.
No.
TVs all over the place.
Not worried about weather. You're not worried about any of that stuff.
What?
Right.
Nothing.
No.
When it was 95, guess what? Cool inside. When
Mm.
it's 9 below out there, guess what? It's just right in here. Tap In Golf Bar, Waukesha, and in Sussex, 2 locations, full swing simulators with courses from around the world. Endorsed by Tiger Woods, John Rahm, Xander Schauffele, who Xander Schauffele is endorsing it.
Yeah.
That's the 2024 guy to be endorsing.
Those are good
Keep your
names.
swing fresh all year long. Tap in with your swing this year at Tap In Golf Bar, Waukesha, and in Sussex.
All right. Those are good names, Billy. Excited to have them on board. Excited to have this segment back. I've been waiting a long time now. I know,
You've been itching to get this back.
I know John's probably a little salty because he's in Brazil and he can't execute the first game, but that's okay. I'm going to do it. I'm here. So now, Billy, the topic, as you can imagine, maybe is about Brazil. What does Billy know about
That
Brazil?
was my guess.
The Packers
that was
are
my guess.
in
South
Sao Paulo.
America,
Now, I had other
South American capitals.
I had other ideas, Billy,
Oh,
of different categories. I might have even wrote questions, but I decided this would be the right thing to have for the first week. But don't worry about that little guy. I'm going to save those questions for another time. So
well, now I'm excited for whatever these other questions were, but okay.
I had some wild topics, let me tell you, but it's okay. All right, now we're
Sounds
back.
like commercial break podcast material, but okay.
No, I think we should be good with this one. I think we should do it right. For the first one, what does Billy know about Brazil? Question number 1, Billy. Sao Paulo is the biggest city in Brazil, but not the city that hosted the 2016 Olympics. What Brazilian city was that?
Rio.
Rio is correct.
There
And
we go. There we go. There
All
we go.
right, I don't want to say
You need a
I
bell.
don't want to say it was an easy one to start off, but it was.
I appreciate
All
that.
right, yeah, let's go.
Also, Tap In Golf Bar might appreciate that because then they're like, wait,
you didn't shut out
this
your
idiot,
first one.
this idiot couldn't get the first question right.
We gotta get the first one in.
Goodness
we
gracious.
gotta get
Okay.
we
Good
gotta
work.
get a gimme. We gotta play a gimme early on. All right, number 2, true or false? Brazil holds the record for the most World Cup titles of any country. True or false?
Gotta be true.
That is true.
Gotta be true.
5 World Cup titles. Italy and I believe Germany tied for second with 4.
Pele?
Pele as well. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I think that's him, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sao Paulo-
Argentina, the other good one.
Very good. Uruguay's got a bunch. I mean, not a bunch, but a couple. As you can imagine, Sao Paulo is the largest city in Brazil. It's also the largest city in all the Americas.
I heard that before.
North, Central, South. I did say that, including metro area. What population is Sao Paulo? Over under 12 million.
Over under 12 million.
Yes, over under 12 million.
I got to go over. Simply, I know it's a jaw-dropping number.
Right. Is that your answer?
I'm going over.
Over is correct.
Wouldn't
Now,
have put it in there if it wasn't an over.
For-
And life's too short to bet the under.
for all you internet sleuths out there that are about to come at me, I asked for the metro
Sleuths.
population. It's 21.8 million. 21.8 million people in the metro
Hell
area.
yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. That's bigger than New York City. Oh, I'm just saying. I know what's going to happen here, Billy.
I'm glad you understand what was going to happen
Good
there.
s-
I like you getting out ahead of it right
Good-
away.
Good start,
Yes.
Billy. 3 for 3. All right. In the mid-19th century, this main export helped drive Sao Paulo to be one of the largest economic centers in the world. Mid 19th century. This main export.
This main export.
This product.
Okay. This
Got
is
any
where it's going to
guesses?
test my geography B skills.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's a
Colombia.
product. We're looking for a product.
Product just in Brazil, not in all of South America. Because South America, I was going to go coffee.
Okay.
Brazil, I'm going to go. It's not Brazilian steak. Not a Brazilian
I
steak.
love steak. Love radicchio.
Yeah,
Is that what that
Are you
is?
kidding me? Cutting it right out in front of you, right off the big old slab that they
Wow.
take right to the
I
table.
could use a Brazilian steak. Let me tell you.
Definitely not a wax. I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go back to my first question.
Okay.
My first guess: coffee.
It is coffee.
Let's go.
Thought you were going to overthink this. I really did, Billy.
Yes.
Now, it was the coffee cycle, right? Coffee was imported. They started developing their coffee, and then they exported it again. So it's amazing what we can do when we trade and work together. All right.
That's what I'm
Coffee.
talking about.
All right, 4 for 4. As you can imagine, with a city so large, transportation can sometimes be a challenge. Within 20, how many registered helipads are on top of buildings in the city of Sao Paulo?
Registered helipads.
Helipads. You know, where helicopters can land and
I do know what one is.
Okay,
yeah.
within 20, I'm looking for a number.
Within 20,
Yeah,
I'm going to say 420.
Nah, little high. There are 200 registered helipads.
Okay.
But there are 500 registered helicopters that are flying all over the place all the time.
Jeez, Louise,
Yeah.
they're just buzzing all around up there.
Listen, it's important.
Did you
gotta-
get air traffic control for helicopters?
That's a great question. I would imagine there has to be.
You
There-
would think, right?
mean,
like
when
I got to know where the other guys are trying to fly to.
When I pull up my flight radar app, I can see the helicopters buzzing around. So
Well, then I
they're
would assume, yeah.
registered. Yeah,
And they
I
have
would
to be.
assume.
Okay.
All right, 4 out of 5. Question 6. Sao Paulo takes is country of many roots, okay, including having the largest Italian population in all of Brazil. The city has more than 6,000 pizzerias, over under 700,000. How many pizzas per day are made in Sao Paulo?
Okay. This also, sorry, just a little sidebar. This explains the accent in the "Let's go kick us some ass this weekend."
That was
Like,
awesome.
I felt the little Italian in there.
Oh, absolutely.
It felt like there was a little Tony Soprano
Well,
here in this little pit.
Ethnically, culturally, it's very similar, right?
Gonna kick some ass over here.
Yeah, indeed.
Right over here. Come on. Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad I found that.
Over
Sorry,
under 700,000 pizzas.
over under 700,000
A day.
pizzas a day.
That's a lot of
There's-
pizzas.
Yeah, it got to be under. There's no way you're eating that much pizza. Son of a.
They're making 1 million pizzas a day in Sao Paulo. A million pizzas a day. Sorry, Billy. They're smaller pizzas, probably. That's why.
I
All
never
right.
bet the under.
4 out of 6. I know. This type of music has become the most well-known form of Brazilian music worldwide. Let's see if you can get this one. And we kind of referenced it earlier.
Samba.
Samba is correct. You know, samba. Why not? A little bit of samba, right? 5 out of 7.
I like that. Okay.
This
Come on
Sao
now.
Paulo native is a former 15-year NBA vet and is currently an assistant coach for the Sacramento Kings. He was the NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 2007 with the Suns and won an NBA title with the Warriors in 15. See if you can get this one.
Is this one of the ugliest players to ever play in the NBA? Leandro Barbosa?
That is correct.
Let's
It
go.
is. And he was. I hate to say it.
Um,
Leandro Barbosa.
Love him.
Good player.
Fantastic player.
Good player, the Brazilian blood.
not blessed in the looks variety. Sorry.
No, but you know what? He made a lot of money in
A
the
lot of
NBA.
money, and he's still doing it right now.
Yes.
I love that.
This veteran
Brazilians
NFL
going crazy.
Question number 9. 6 out of 8. Good job so far. This veteran NFL kicker is also a native of Sao Paulo, and he is currently kicking for the Chicago Bears.
Cairo Santos.
That is correct. Cairo Santos himself. 7 out of 9. All right, Billy. See if you can get 8 here.
Come
What is
on
the
now.
final question? What is the primary language spoken in Brazil?
Portuguese.
Portuguese is correct. There you go, Billy. Well done.
Wow,
Well done.
what a
8
return.
8 out of 10. What a return. I mean, that is pretty good work by
That's
you.
damn near the best I've ever done.
Oh, you know what?
I
We had
shut
to
the
start
box one time, and I think everything else I got 4s.
We had to start this thing off right. Yeah, you were consistently average last year, which is fine. C's get degrees.
The C's get degrees, but Brian in Milwaukee's like, oh, wow, we get a bunch of true, false, 50-50 questions. Dude's going to throw up a 7. Take that, Brian. 8
8.
in your face.
Well,
Wow,
you know,
I'm amazed that I just did that.
maybe we'll ramp the difficulty up. I have to calibrate this and see where we're going to go. But I thought those were pretty good questions.
I
for
thought
the
they were
first week.
fantastic questions.
All right. Well,
Fantastic questions.
We're
Good
excited
work.
to be back with this.
I also
segment.
appreciated them because they were the ones that I knew. 414-799-1973. We're going to dig on that NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Pick out our winners. Pick them out of the hat for who is taking home the inaugural Tap In Golf Bar free hour simulator card as the winner of the new and improved What Does Billy Know on 9 to noon right here on the game. He's Armin Sari and I'm Billy Schmidt. Back to the football talk. Get a winner in here and then head into hour number 3, our best one of the day leading into football season on the game. 9 to noon is back on the game. We are inside of 9 hours away from an NFL game kicking off in earnest. Right now, Patrick Mahomes' passing yards continues to go up on a prop because 92% of the bets at BetMGM are on the over. Well, we're going to go up to our favorite sportsbook, Potawatomi Sportsbook, in about 20 minutes from right now. I don't believe over 269.5 passing yards for Pat Mahomes is going to be the Coons can't miss here today. I'm going to be pretty confident in saying that.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back and look. I know he sent me all of his, but I don't believe that's it either. But that's an interesting line, Billy, I think, if you're looking at a prop.
A little high.
It
Little
is,
high.
Unless you think he can do it tonight. And then
I mean,
it's
against that Ravens secondary, it seems a little high. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in a couple of different ones that we will tap around with. We are going to get a couple of picks coming up from one of our nooners in You Better You Bet in about 15 minutes from right now. We're going to go to the Potawatomi Sportsbook with our Coons Can't Miss. And also, I'm going to be a real teacher and not the one that assigns homework and then doesn't check it in.
Okay,
we assigned homework to Armin Sarian for his NFL predictions. That comes up in the third hour of the program. Sorry.
Very good. I was ready with it. So I know these teachers, they try and catch you. Like, do you have your homework ready?
Armin jumped up to the microphone, grabbed it with both hands, two-handed, and said, I'm ready. Oh, never mind. Okay,
I'm going to give Armin. I was ready. I was like, all right. Let's go.
You had the NFL films ready to go. No, never mind.
In the AFC North, we started up, and here we go.
Soon enough, young grasshopper. It's coming in one quick second. First, we got to give away.
Yes.
Our prize. We have to have our winner for What Does Billy Know as we return for What Does Billy Know, thanks to Tap In Golf Bar in Waukesha Inn in Sussex. That winner of the 1 hour simulator for a guess of number 8 as you scour the talk and text line. Difficult to find because even though it might pain me to say, Armin, not a whole lot of 8s on the talk and text line for probably good reason as we sit here.
Not a whole lot of 8s. Now, there was a couple, and I want to give those guys credit. I know Red Hot Tim Not had one, but it's going to be Mitch on the 414. Congrats, Mitch. 414. You were one of the guys that picked 8. You won the random drawing of those people to win the gift card. So congratulations. You are the inaugural winner of this edition of What Does Billy Know? Mitch in the 414. I texted you back. I need your info. And then we'll get it going from there. And well, Billy, we're off and running. It feels good. It feels good. Now I had to sift through all the, different guesses and all the haters telling me I didn't give you tough enough questions.
Yeah, there were plenty of those. This isn't like
an AP history test. I'm not Stumpy McGee. This isn't like the MCATs. I'm not trying to make this as difficult as possible.
The bar exam.
All right, I get what you guys are saying. Maybe you felt some of those were easy, maybe not. Maybe Billy just got them right. All right, guys.
I don't know. Maybe like one individual said, Stuart from Madison said, Billy, married life has made you so much smarter. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You're getting smarter now, Billy, and you're wise older. You're 30 now.
Thanks for reminding me.
Well,
but yeah, it might be the case.
Okay. It's gonna be okay.
The married thing might be a part of it. Listen, I was hearing Maria Taylor did a sit-down interview with Jordan Love for Football Night in America. They posted it on their YouTube page. Really cool stuff in there. They end up bringing out his fiance, Ronica Stone, who has a familiarity and a friendship with Maria Taylor. And Jordan did kind of say, seems like his play kind of ticked up once Ronica came into the picture.
Hey man, that's what they say. Absolutely.
They also do tag up on your boy a little bit, which is kind of mean because Jordan Love was not first team all Mountain West coming out.
Nope.
Ronica just drops it in there. She goes, just so you know, I was first team.
Yeah, just so if you ever
wonder, I was all Pac-12. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
If you ever forget who was awesome around here, I'm going to stand on business and let you know. And she's a professional athlete too.
I'll let you know.
And I
still
think
might be pretty good.
I think it's got to be helpful having someone that can somewhat understand, albeit on a different level, the pressures of being a professional athlete, a former athlete. Ronica played
no doubt about it.
Volleyball. She continues to play in a professional
league. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I think no doubt about it. So Ronica, we've had, the first, I don't know what the right word
Maria
to say
Taylor calls them the first couple of Wisconsin.
The first couple of Wisconsin. Now I think Giannis and Mariah might have a little bit of claim.
Have them beat.
And they got married as well. Mm-hmm. Congratulations to them. They got married in Greece. And Chris Middleton was best man. You saw that.
Which I love.
I love that.
I was a little
I thought we all thought it was going to be Thanasis.
Figured it'd be Thanasis.
And I don't think any of us would have batted an eye if it wasn't,
But
you
maybe on
right.
Giannis's part, he said, I can't pick out of between any of my brothers.
I'm picking my brothers, so I'm picking my brother Chris. And just
That's
so
cool,
you guys
dude.
know, you guys are all here important, and Chris is important too. And instead of picking one of you guys, you're all my brothers. And
Yes.
this is my best
and
man.
this is my best man,
Why-
Chris.
And I'm sure they
Awesome.
understand. I'm sure they understand. Yeah.
And also continues to double up on why so many people are you understand why there's such a push to make sure that they were together. I would assume that if you at any point
Yes.
in time,
Yes.
Bucks fans really did think that they would maybe try to split that apart. Giannis has a lot of power in this organization. Chris Middleton means something to him.
Yeah, and Drew was there too.
And Drew was there too.
Obviously they're going to be.
People
Chris
thought
has
that
power.
could have been a situation. No, Drew was there too.
Loyalty means something to this guy. We already know that. It's pretty cool. to
Bobby
see.
was there too.
Bobby.
Now, Bobby gets a lot of discussion about the crazy eyes. Those crazy eyes may have had looked like they were a little bloodshot. They looked like they were having some fun at this.
You thought he had a
at
good
this
time?
wedding.
You
It
thought he
looked
had a
like
good
people were
time?
having a good time. I mean, Drew had a nice smile on his face in that one picture where all the boys looked like in a little photo booth.
Yeah, and I gotta find more pictures of this wedding.
We got to
I-
find
I-
more photos.
I know I haven't seen them all, but I mean, I just so happy for that. So happy for him. So happy to see and remind, whatever happens on the court, these guys are still. I mean, I know that makes fans feel good to see them there with Drew and all that stuff. Because that's when time goes on and history is what we remember, that will be the unit we remember, obviously. So it's pretty awesome to see, no doubt about it. I know Dame wasn't there. People tried to wild out to that information. Dame already had a wedding he was going to.
Already had one.
So let's not make come on.
Also, Dame's working.
Dame's working.
Dame is working on that stationary bike.
Yeah.
David Goggins was just giving it to him that day.
David Goggins is an amazing guy too. When you look back at his
You want to
ultra
feel
marathoner.
really, really bad about
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
Go watch a couple of David Goggins
Yeah,
videos.
but he was putting Damian through the paces with that thing.
Come on, Dame.
If a guy like
Come on,
Damian,
Dame.
if it looks like Damian's working that hard, that must be a hard workout.
And David's like not even moving.
not even moving.
Barely looks like it is. I don't even think he was sweating.
I'm like, is his bike the same?
Dame's got two towels on and is like giving out. Like, geez, Louise, I almost feel bad for him. But then I felt really inspired and went through on my zero jersey. Get that letter O out.
Listen.
Buck season's almost here
I don't
too.
know if Dame's gonna have a monster year, but I know he's trying to get ready for one.
I know he is preparing to have one. We will see if it ultimately pays off. I sure hope it does. Armin's got some Bucks on. I'm repping the real opener tonight. The real opener that people are going to watch here tonight. The Carroll University Pioneers back on the football field.
I like that.
Taking on the Blue Devils of UW Stout. Whatever, the Chiefs and Ravens. Apparently Taylor Swift is going to be there. Does that matter to people? I don't
Some people it matters a lot to
Are you
people.
kidding me?
For
UW
both
Stout
reasons.
is where football really starts here tonight when
Yeah.
the Pioneers go up there and get a massive, massive win. Hour number 3 fires up on the other side. We got your chance to be a contestant in week 1 for You Better, You Better, You Bet. 414-799-1973. Caller number 3 is our contestant when we return, plus Armin's picks for the NFL season. His homework is due, and we will check it coming up as well. It's 9 to noon. Stay wide on the game. 9 to noon on the game. Football is back tonight. It's Kansas City hosting and raising another banner, hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens. First time we've seen him not in a Tennessee Titan uniform in the NFL.
Correct. You know, I was talking about running backs, Billy, and he's like the anomaly in a lot of ways. Like
it's your favorite position in the NFL.
Well, the wheels don't fall off him, but they will at some point. But I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Henry's also a fascinating study from like, you want to talk about somebody that carried the football all the time in college.
Yeah, he did a lot of
35 a game, 39 a game. Like, I mean, he was a workhorse in college.
There was no keeping him fresh or whatever. You know.
Then he goes to the league, second round pick, and he's playing behind DeMarco Murray, who is getting every single touch there in Tennessee.
Right.
And people are, wait,
what about this guy?
We should probably give it to him.
Yeah.
Can we give it to him? Like, he's pretty good. I think we should give it to him.
Yeah.
He sat for like a year and a half almost in the NFL. So while he is an older back and he's got a ton of miles on him, he did have like a little hiatus in there where he was lightly used, right? Gently used to where they've saved maybe a little bit of tread on those tires. I'm excited to see how he plays this year.
And there are some guys that are just different. They're outliers. The trick is trying to identify those guys. So the Frank Gores of the world.
Good luck.
I mean,
yeah.
I just think for every Derrick Henry, there's a plenty more Brandon Jacobs who pop for a couple of years and then they kind of, they don't sustain it.
Yeah.
Especially the big guys. So I don't know. He's one of the special ones and it's fun to watch him run. And it just feels right having a big back in Baltimore.
Totally
Jamal
does.
Lewis and all these guys, LaRon McClain, it just feels right.
And you do think that it adds a different element to their offense. I mean,
think
like,
so. I think
they
so.
were a great running football team. Gus Edwards could, one of the more underrated backs in ball.
Yep.
J.K. Dobbins was hurt for the last couple of years, so you didn't get the full work out of him. But
Lamar, obviously.
Obviously Lamar, but I wonder if they want to kind of curtail some of Lamar's running. Now, he did slim down because he said he looked slow and fat.
Well, I couldn't believe that when I heard that.
He's like, I was watching, I look slow and I look fat.
If you think that's what you look like, if you are, then I
got to check this out.
My brother in Christ, we're all slow and fat. How fat and slow are we if you think you're slow and fat?
Lamar's like, I got to change something, dude.
And
I look fat.
You're outrunning the fastest guys in the world.
Hilarious.
You know what I mean? Isn't that funny? So,
but, I mean, think about it. In that Kansas City game, he does. Now, it did appear he slowed down when he goes down on that breakaway in the first quarter. But he breaks away and then gets hawked. And I wonder if there's some of that of saying, yeah, if I run that thing to the crib, we're going to we're going to the Super Bowl.
So he wonders if he put extra work in to slim down.
You'll always think that
would that be the difference? I get it. That's
fascinating.
That's the torment that you go through being a pro athlete.
Especially when you can't get home because of the guy on the other sideline tonight. It's that team on the other side that keeps keeping them from getting home and getting to where they want to go. Before we get to where we want to go, Potawatomi Sportsbook, Josina Anderson has an update on your boy, Hassan Reddick. With the New York Football Jets.
Would this qualify as breaking news, Billy?
Probably not breaking news, but just something that I think Armin Sarian would enjoy. Jets head coach Robert Saleh told Josina Anderson, who is not in Brazil, so she's tweeting. He said today, Hassan Reddick still has not reported, and Josina was told that Hassan Reddick showed up to a charity drive in New Jersey for a philanthropic visit.
Involved with the Jets? Like, is that his point?
Visit was not related to Jets business, per league source. Another source mentioned the team's awareness of Reddick, that he was in town for the event. Saleh said the team is not ruling out Hassan Reddick for Monday Night Football.
He just does not handle these things well.
But at this junction, that feels like wishful thinking.
Wasn't our charity, but hey, he loves to handle. He just seems clumsy, doesn't it?
He is a clumsy cat at the microphone.
Are you trying to embarrass Hassan by saying he went
defensive coach?
He's a good coach in that sense defensively, but I think his point is to call him out. But he was at a charity event, so it's not really gonna engender a lot of people to be like, yeah, we agree, he's doing things wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that it immediately gets pitchforks out.
Unauthorized charity.
How dare you?
This is an unexcused charity event. And we heard about him giving out stuff to kids or whatever he was doing.
Apparently he's putting school supplies in backpacks for kids before they go to school.
Now, these were not the official backpacks of the New York Jets. These were unauthorized pencils. And I want to remind you, they were unsharpened.
Unsharpened
They-
number 3 pencils.
Yeah,
How
come
are we giving these kids number 3 pencils before they go to school?
It just seems clumsy. I don't know. Maybe listen,
He has a
Saleh's
good background of doing it. Though.
Saleh's keeping receipts. Remember that. I remember that from 2
He's
years
got
ago.
the receipts.
So
He's got the
he's
receipts.
going to keep one on me. That's for sure. In case they ever play well, and if they do, it's probably because of number 8.
Correct.
Not-
Yes. And maybe in spite of
Yeah.
whatever that guy's got going on the sideline. All right, let's get off the sidelines in the sports investing game. Let's get to Potawatomi Sportsbook with You Better, You Better, You Bet.
Say you better, you better, you better, you bet. You better, you better, you better, you bet.
Better bet you. You better bet your bottom dollar that this man was going to be in the mix for You Better, You Bet. One of our reigning, defending champions and consumers at
Absolutely.
Carnivore.
Consumers, yes.
I think that's the best way to go because we
Yeah.
consumed meat,
We
potatoes,
consumed it all.
a little bit of alcohol in there.
Yeah, we did have that. We had
Maybe a
some
little bit
dessert.
more of that. Some dessert was in there.
Bone
some marrow was
Yeah,
in there.
Bone marrow.
And more importantly, some just great times at Carnivore, Milwaukee's premier steakhouse for over 15 years. Go and have an elite experience, an elite dining experience at Carnivore, Milwaukee's premier steakhouse, steaks from around the world, Wagyu cuts of steak, also a wine list that is ever expanding, over 300 different varieties of there. Omar's got his choices that you want to be able to get. The line is elite.
He's in his
At
bag.
Carnivore.
No doubt about it. And
He's in his bag. Well, also some would say in his cellar.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Some would say in his cellar. All right, let's get to Andy in Brookfield
Welcome back, Andy.
because Andy is trying to get back to Carnivore as a back-to-back champion of You Better You Bet. Good to hear from you. Andy, what's this first pick in your quest to get back to Carnivore?
We're going to start off with the Broncos.
Starting out with the Denver Broncos
getting all 6 of them
on
points.
the road, getting 6, Armin, in Seattle. The Packers fans got to see the Denver Broncos. We didn't like watching that situation.
No, they've looked good. The Broncos did.
I haven't seen a whole lot of Seattle under Mike McDonald as the new head coach there. I don't know exactly what to expect out of the Seahawks, but people are expecting them to be much better than Denver, apparently in that very, very much home field advantage of Lumen Field.
I agree, Billy. And I was a little surprised to see 6 here, but I guess it's based on reputation of the Broncos and what they were last
Hey,
year.
man,
But
Bo Nix is okay playing out in the Pacific Northwest.
they sure look formidable. I mean, from that week we saw them. So I know it's a road game, but I kind of like this pick, 6 points.
Although, I mean, if you really are trying to go for an tinfoil hat experience here,
Which
Bo
I'm sure-
Nix 0-2 last year against teams from Seattle, against
All right.
Washington.
All right.
So, I mean, like,
we can do it that way. Sure. Yeah. That's
didn't
one
like
way.
that one. All right,
That's
Andy.
one way to
All
look
right,
at it.
Andy. He didn't like that joke, so I'm going to ask you. Bo Nix, 0-2 against teams in Seattle. Are you worried about that pick from a year ago?
That does not worry me one bit.
Good, because you're a smart investor. Let's go to pick number 2.
I'll pick number 2 will be the Cowboys.
He's taking the Dallas Cowboys in Tom Brady's first ever broadcast at Fox of the NFL. He will be calling Cowboys and Browns as they travel to the mistake by the lake, catching 2.5 points.
My dad was fired up about that. He goes, I thought that Tom Brady was going to be on important games. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well,
baby
the
Leon.
Packers game's the most important game. I said, different networks.
That is fair.
Different networks, Dad. That's how that works. You know?
That is fair, though.
Yeah.
Your dad's not lying in that situation.
And it's a good question, but I had to explain to him that.
Sneakily might be one of the better games of the weekend. The Sunday night game is also a very, very intriguing one. But Dallas, all the turmoil that they have going into the year, they did get CeeDee Lamb signed, but they catch 2.5 against Cleveland in that very, very good defense. And whatever Deshaun Watson ends up playing like this year for the Cleveland Browns,
Absolutely.
that is a massive wild card. Andy, pick number 3.
The Texans.
This is the pick of the week.
People
This is the
love
pick of the
this
week.
pick.
Minus 2.5. Now, earlier in the week, Armin, the Texans were laying a full 3, a full field goal in Lucas Oil Stadium against the Indianapolis Colts.
that's line-
Anthony Richardson's return as well here.
Yeah, that line has moved definitely. And I think the jury is still out on Richardson, no doubt about it.
I would think so a little
what,
bit, yeah.
What type of player he's going to be in this league? I think a lot of people have questions. And listen, I mean, obviously CJ Stroud jumped on the scene, had a great rookie year. let's see if he can repeat it with the sophomore year. So
If there's a sophomore slump, there's going to be a lot of people that have already put him and anointed him at the top
they're
of the young quarterbacks.
They're like the trendy pick, obviously.
Interesting to see how that plays out. Pick number 4, Andy, where are we headed?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Taking the Cincinnati Bengals, laying now 8 against the New England Patriots. This one has bounced all around.
That's
Way earlier in the week, it was like 9.5, then it was down to 7.5.
It's a lot of wood, though. 8 points. It's got to be more than a touchdown. So I agree. I think the Bengals are much better than the Patriots.
But Bengals prohibitively slow starters.
That's true. And you know that as a big Joe Burrow guy.
Always slow starters. Jamar Chase back at practice, though, yesterday.
Important.
Not in pads, but that is important, especially if you're a Bengals investor. All right, final pick, Andy. Where are we going?
The Chargers.
The LA Superchargers. Jim Harbaugh returns to the NFL. They take on the LA Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, really the LA Raiders, because if this game is in LA, it's going to be an LA Raiders crowd.
Yep, and that's a 3-point. They're 3-point favorites right now.
That is now also back-to-back days that have called them the LA Raiders.
Well, that's all right.
I wasn't born when they played in Los Angeles.
There are so many Raiders fans in LA. You're not actually wrong.
Like I said, I think there's going to be more Raiders fans there than there will be Chargers fans potentially.
LA,
even
Oakland,
though there should be a lot of Chargers steam with Jim Harbaugh in the land. I mean, Jim Harbaugh starts talking, people should start listening and getting excited about Chargers football, but more importantly, they're excited about the LA Raiders at this point.
The Raiders.
Chargers laying 3 is the pick for Andy and Brookfield. Andy, which of these 5 are you locking down?
I will lock in the Bengals.
Oh, he told me. He said, no, thanks, Harmon. Don't give me any of that Bengals hesitation.
Wow.
That's my lock of the week.
It's just like I faded you on Nooner Day with your pick. I went the other direction, didn't I?
You said fade Harmon.
And I won.
Hey, I can't blame you.
Andy, that's why we love you. Great work. Tune in next week, see how you did.
Can't wait to do it again with you guys.
Awesome, buddy.
That is
Thanks.
Andy and Brookfield, a returning champion to You Better You Bet. 8 with the guys because he beat the guys last year. See if you can too. And get yourself to Carnivore, Milwaukee's premier steakhouse for over 15 years now. Cincinnati, largest spread of the weekend, -8. Spreads are moving all around, especially in these first 2 games.
Yeah, and week 1 is so unpredictable, Billy, as you know. We just don't know what to expect. So the lines are set. Money comes in.
These are the lines that have now been out for 5 months.
A long time.
So in reality, they should be the best lines of the year. They have the most interest, the most understanding by the public, the most time for you to gauge where the public truly sits.
The most pick through
on
lines.
This money.
Yeah, I mean they've been picked through for a while now. So.
And now the Packers were catching 3 earlier in the week. Now they're down to 2 at Potawatomi Sportsbook. The one tonight was at 3 earlier in the week. Was all the way at 3.5 earlier in the week at some institutions. Now at 2.5. I assume that's where John Kuhn goes with the can't miss of the day, but we can't do that. We can't assume because that would make out of you and me. We got to go play at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold.
Indeed, Billy, Potawatomi Sportsbook, as you know, our favorite place to go for all the action here in Milwaukee. Man, that screen, 2,000 square feet.
Dude.
Let's talk about that menu. Let's talk about those great deals. I'm telling you, they put the coon dog on there now with the side.
That's
for $12.
an elite pick.
You can't beat that.
Huge.
You cannot beat that. Absolutely. Get down there. Look at 70 kiosks with this beautiful betting menu in addition to the beautiful food menu, or go right up to my friendly friends there at the ticket booth. Have them write a ticket for you. I know a lot of people have questions.
You can still talk to human beings.
You can talk to them. They'll explain it to you. They'll take time with you because a lot of people haven't done a lot of sports betting. It's a brand new thing to them, and it's available now in Milwaukee. So they go up right to the window and ask questions. They get the right pick they want, and it's a fantastic time. Billy, down on Canal Street, and yes, you were right in your assumption. John did text me earlier in the week, yesterday, with Ravens +3. Now, does he get Ravens +3, or do we give him a 2.5? I mean, how's that work?
I think he gets the +3 because you could place the bet yesterday at Potawatomi Sportsbook at 3.
One thing you could also always do if you like 3 and you want to give up a little bit of the odds, you can always move that line. You can buy that half point.
Buy that half point. You always buy the half point.
As that random guy told me.
When he's dunked on you for it.
Well, don't you know you always buy the half point?
No, I don't, guy.
Guys trying to high five me. No, I lost the bet. You won the bet. I didn't have
You
that.
won. I lost.
Last free throw
Not
goes
that
in.
funny.
Yeah. Like I just told you, I had it at the half. Anyway, John has Ravens +3 tonight. Billy, this should be interesting because the Chiefs have started slow sometimes. Think the Ravens will be hungry. Yeah, I could see that maybe.
I'm very intrigued. I think it's a coin flip game. And if you're giving me 3, I would also lean Ravens. 2.5. I don't necessarily know. Might be a live situation, which you can also do at Potawatomi
Oh, yeah.
Sportsbook.
I love to do that. When you
You
have
go
a chance to bet live, it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun. If you're sitting right there at the bar, having a couple, having a nice dinner at Potawatomi Sportsbook, you're like, okay, now I'm seeing the first quarter and a half. I actually really like the way the Ravens came out here. Oh, and I can get them at a maybe even better number.
Oh, yeah. And
That's my favorite part.
You
is
know
doing live
me,
betting.
you know me, Billy. I like to try and hedge in middle games and
Yeah,
do all
you do.
these things.
Yeah, you do.
I like to try and get fancy, thinking I'm, trying to be the mastermind.
Well, you're a sharp. That's what it is.
Yeah, clearly that's what it is. Yeah, that's what clearly works for me.
The
all the
sharp investor, Armin Sarian, the elite sharp picks coming up on the other side as well. So it's
Yeah.
Ravens +3 tonight.
Ravens
Coons
+3.
can't miss. Potawatomi Sportsbook.
And last night was Brewers +1.5. Did win on the run line. Unfortunately, the Brewers
Son of
lost.
a gun, man.
but
We
they-
got to get out of extra innings with these
Yeah,
Cardinals.
we got to.
Or,
Did cover though.
and now this could be a crazy idea.
Win games outright.
I mean,
What are you gonna say?
get a hit with runners in
Oh,
scoring
that
position.
yes, that please. I mean, I was so
That was the
excited
biggest issue last
when
night.
Eric Haas got that homer last night. I was whooping and hollering. I'm like, we're back, Eric Haas, homer of the year. Like I was all fired up, but it's tough when you lose 2 in extra innings because you could have won both.
Could have won both.
You feel like you got to let it get away, but
Brewers 0 of 15 with 8 strikeouts with runners in scoring position last night.
just get it out of your system.
Get it out of your system now. Don't worry about it. It'll be a lot better coming up. at the tail end.
One more thing, Billy. I was a little surprised opening
Ooh.
weekend. I mean, I'm betting under the whole board here.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of these totals.
You're going to rip the no safety parlay?
The totals look high. Oh, that might be another one to start up again. Like Buckner walking back into Shea. Here I go again, trying this no safety parlay.
Get yourself a win on the no safety parlay one of these times.
Jordan crying face.gif every time I put that ticket in. Every time I put that ticket in and the safety comes on Sunday night or Monday night.
Well, maybe there will be one tonight. And then when I go down there to meet Doug Russell for Packers game day tomorrow, I can do the rest of the slate and it'll be a winner because there's no way they're going to get 2 safeties in the weekend.
Don't you know, Armin, you should have bought the safety hedge
Safety
or something
edge
like
on Sunday night.
something like that, right?
Oh, man. One of a kind. He's Armin Sarian. On the other side, his predictions for the NFL season. John Kuhn and I had ours 2 days ago. All of a sudden, we're sitting here saying, wait, Three's company too. And we forgot here on 9 to noon.
And we got time now.
Our guy
It's all good.
Armin Sarian had him punted. So we got to get them in before kickoff of the NFL season coming up right after this. It's 9 to noon on the game. 9 to noon on the game. Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian with all of you on the kickoff of the NFL season tonight. Chiefs and Ravens. Just a couple of stats to give you here. And just word to the wise, because you like to think of this stuff. You like to have some of this background information going into a game like tonight. Lamar Jackson in the first half, Armin Sarian tonight.
Okay, yeah.
51-30-2 against the spread in his career.
You mean his teams are
His
not
teams
just,
are
not
in their
just his
first
props.
half.
I'm sorry, yeah. Against I could definitely see them coming out strong. Now, that's not against the Chiefs either. Like that's
Correct.
That what is he? I mean, do we have that number? I don't know.
We don't have that number, but we also don't have this one. But we have Taylor Swift going to be in attendance here tonight.
Of course. Why not? Supporting her man. Let's
well,
go. What?
Her man for now until what? September 28th? Was
Nah,
that what I was
that's
reading yesterday?
fake. Yeah, we saw that was fake.
That was fake. Okay.
That's
okay.
a fake. That's fake news, Billy.
Totally not thinking that's real. There's not like any hint of realness in
You
there.
really think someone's coming out with a written plan, like a PowerPoint, and passing it out? People believe anything these days.
I don't know.
Is it
It's on
that-
the internet. You can't lie.
Is it that impossible to believe that they might like each other? Like, it's
No.
crazy.
But is
Crazy.
it impossible to believe people with billions of dollars, and yes, I say billions,
Okay.
would want to have it outlined as to how we're going to proceed with this?
I don't think they're going to write it out like that. I really don't. I've never heard of anything like that. So it is hard for me to believe. That's just me, Billy. I wouldn't have jumped in there and said, this has got to be true. I wouldn't have said that. That's just me. And guess what?
And you would have had a much better night than Will Compton did last night, because he was getting
Will
into
just-
it with Swifties.
He just asked. I feel bad a little bit for Will because he just asked
he
the
was
question.
getting dunked on hard by
Yeah,
the Swifties too.
I got a question. Why did people think she needs the money or that Travis needs the money?
We don't
Everybody-
have time to answer that, but
All right.
that's a long,
How many
long
planes do you think
conversation.
she makes plenty of money? She's flying her Dassault Falcon 7X anywhere she wants.
Doesn't need more money than Travis Kelce, but she might from a sports book.
Right.
Taylor Swift expected to be at Arrowhead tonight. In games Taylor attended last year,
Uh-huh.
Chiefs were 10-3 straight up, 8-4-1 against the spread. Obviously, you remember one of those L's on the straight up
Yeah.
at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, that's right. We gave it to them. That was pretty good. That was
Awesome.
a good feeling. So
Yeah, straight.
I
It was
think-
awesome.
I think the Chiefs are a good bet all the time. But I also think the Ravens would be a good bet. I think this is one of those tough games, to be honest with you.
It's going to be a fun one, man.
I
I'm
don't-
really,
you know,
really excited. Now, the way that we're talking about both of these teams, we both assume that they're going to be playoff teams. Now, I have both of them meeting up in the playoffs, and I finally have the Baltimore Ravens getting the better of the Kansas City Chiefs in the predictions that we gave for the NFL season just before John departed on Tuesday. We didn't have enough time to get Armin's full picks in.
All right, I'll
So
give
we
you some
have your
picks.
predictions here for the NFL season in 2024.
I do. Now, you want to go division by division?
We want
How
to
do
go
we do
division by
this?
division. Come on now.
All right,
let's
let's-
start in the AFC, because that's where we're talking
Start
about
in
right
the
now.
AFC East, where I have a surprise. I'm going to deviate from you guys early. I think the Bills are going to come back down to earth. I know that's somewhat of a trendy
Yeah.
thing. Bills are not making the playoffs. I've got
Whoa.
them 7-10. The Patriots are going to be last, obviously, in that division.
Correct.
I've got the Dolphins 9-8, and I had the New York Jets winning the AFC East. A surprise for some, maybe. I think they're going to be good this year.
Wow.
I think Aaron's going to show people what it's like to be doubted again. I just do. I don't know why. I feel it's going to be the Jets in the AFC East. That's kind of my most bold prediction out of this whole group, I think. I
It
really
is tough, Armin, to look at the Jets and say, like, how are they not better if Aaron plays all year?
do. That's hard for me to not
Like,
believe.
their
that.
defense was so good last year.
Right.
And Garrett Wilson is such a good player. Brees Hall is such a good player. Their offensive line's a year older and better. Like,
You know-
they firmed up stuff on the outside. Like, they should be much better.
A lot of the reasons people like the Bears this year, because they felt like they had a good team except for quarterback last year, are the same reasons I like the Jets. The big difference being, I think the Jets quarterback has a much better track record in the NFL than Caleb Williams, obviously.
Yeah, crazy thoughts.
So-
Crazy statement there.
That's
All right.
my pick there. AFC North, I've got the Ravens and Bengals tied at 11-6 in this division. I'll give it to the Bengals on tiebreaker. So the Ravens are actually going to be in it as a wild card team.
Woo.
For me, Steelers are going to catch a losing season for the
First time in Tomlin's career.
8-9, and the Browns will take last in that division.
Okay.
About
Okay.
6 wins. That's my guess there. AFC South, everybody wants to know about the Texans. It's going to be a good team. Is it a trendy pick? Yeah, but it's going to be a good team. But I had the Jaguars also being good in this one. I have both teams at 10-7, tying for the AFC South title. I'm going to give the Texans the tiebreaker there. I'll give the Jaguars the wild card team. I think the Jaguars are gonna have a little bit of a bounce back there.
There we go. Come on, Jags.
Your boy Trevor. I'm gonna give him some confidence there.
Needs a bounce back after how they closed the year last year.
I've got
pretty damn good before the close of the year.
Oh, indeed. I've got the Chiefs winning the West easily, 12, 13 wins about. The Chargers are gonna go 9-8 in that division.
Oh.
And
is that good enough for a playoff spot?
Don't believe I had them in the playoffs. Let me see here.
Harbaugh missing.
Barely going to miss the playoffs there.
That is all three of us saying the Chargers missed the playoffs and Jim Harbaugh's return. Now, I don't know that that's a groundbreaking statement, but it's just a fact as to what we have in our predictions.
Exactly. So in the AFC, let me run down the seeds I have there. Chiefs number 1 seed. The Jets are the 2 seed there. The Bengals are going to be the 3 because of the way the tiebreakers sneak in. Number 4 is Texans, 5 Ravens, 6 Jaguars, and 7 was the Dolphins. I think I forgot to mention that. I had the Dolphins 9-8, but winning the tiebreaker to get into there. Okay.
And how are we getting through this AFC?
All right. Let's do the AFC predictions right now. The divisional round. Chiefs are going to be against the Ravens. Well, actually, let's start with the wild card round.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Jets are going to beat the Dolphins.
Sure.
The Jets being
Easy.
the Dolphins. I have the Bengals defeating the Jaguars, so chalk. I have the Ravens defeating the Texans in a close one, but I think that's the 5-4. They're going to be better.
Good 4-5.
So the divisional round is going to be Chiefs Ravens again. We're going to get that again, and I got the Ravens overtaking the Chiefs. It's got to happen sometime. And I don't want the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. So it's got to happen.
Pat Mahomes losing his second playoff game at home, this time to Lamar Jackson in the divisional round. Lamar would wish it was in the conference championship, but continue.
Jets Bengals in the AFC divisional round. That's going to be a heck of a game.
That's a heavyweight fight.
I didn't know how to go with this. I was
where you were going.
Pulled in the Jets direction. I'm picking the Jets to beat the Bengals. I would be surprised if that actually happened, though, even though that's my pick. I'm picking here. It's a prediction, but it's a pick.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying this is the most likely necessarily computer scenario.
Sure.
But I'm picking the Jets to beat the Bengals.
It's your truth. All right. So your truth in the AFC championship game, Ravens Jets.
I think Aaron's going to give us one of those runs just to be stopped right at the summit again. You know what I mean? I've got the Ravens beating the Jets to go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's got to happen for the Ravens sometime.
You do have to think so. I mean, like, if it's not now, when will it be?
Right.
Derrick Henry in the backfield. I really like it. So that's 2 of us that have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl.
And no Chiefs there. Not even in the conference championship game.
I was going to say, we both have them losing at the same time as the number 1 overall seed, losing at home. I love that style.
Hey, for Taylor, for Brittany Mahomes, for all them, Blake Bell, Skylar Bell. Who is the wife of who is the Blake? Is it Blake?
Blake Bell is the tight end, I think, that you're talking
so Skylar's his wife.
Okay.
Early vacation for all of them. Finally, they can all go to Cabo.
Early vacation for everybody. Okay.
Actually, I don't think Taylor's going to go to college. She'll probably go to like Bali or somewhere super remote.
She's probably got something important going on.
I don't think she's going to go to Sunburn Bowl, but hey, well, that's just me.
She should, though. If she wants to go to Jamaica.
That'd be awesome.
Jamaica me crazy. That would be amazing. Could you imagine the concert her and the Whiskey Bells would put on?
I can imagine
at Sunburn Bowl.
That would be a big one.
Wow. That'd be a banger. We're not guaranteeing it.
We'd sell trips.
But there could be a possibility. All right, let's get to the NFC.
NFC East is going to be very interesting this year. I have Commanders in last, Giants also bad, 5 and 6 wins respectively. Cowboys and Eagles are going to fight this thing out. I think they're both going to be good teams. I still believe in the Cowboys, even though they took a thud against us last year. I think they're motivated. I think they're going to be tied with the Eagles for the NFC East lead. It's going to be 11 and 6 for both. I'm going to give the Eagles the tiebreaker there.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So the Cowboys, once again, are going to be in that wild card limbo.
They're over their win total of 10.5.
I want to be that guy that just puts the Bears in the cellar again, or now the Vikings. I will. They're going to be terrible. The Vikings will be the worst team in football this year. I got them at 4 wins. But the NFC North is going to be tough all year, and we're going to have 3 playoff teams. I think the Bears will actually make the playoffs, and I hate saying that, Billy. I got them 3rd at 10 and 7. I had the Packers 11 and 6, and I have to show respect to the Lions. I think they're going to have a great year, 13 and 4. I think the Lions are going to win the North and get a high seed.
I was going to say they'd be
the top seed.
They'd be the number 1 seed at that point.
Yeah,
okay,
it would be. Packers in as a wild card again. NFC South, I think it's gonna be a bad division, but I think the Buccaneers are the class of it. 10 and 7, they're gonna win it. I'm not picking some sort of Saints rebirth. I know I got 7 wins for them. I have 6 for the Falcons. I know there's an excitement about Kirk. I just don't believe in the Falcons. And Panthers, terrible, 5-12, whatever.
Okay,
right?
okay. I like this story.
NFC West should be interesting. 49ers will win that division. They're going to have a little bit of trouble this year. 10-7, I got them at. All right.
Wow, that's a huge step back for them.
Rams 9-8, Seahawks 9-8 as well.
Okay, you
Cardinals
like Mike
7-10.
McDonald's squad.
So
okay.
here's how the NFC seeding shake out. Number 1 seed is going to be the Lions. Number 2 seed is the Eagles
Mhm.
there. Number 3 seed would be the 49ers.
Boom.
4 seed would be the Buccaneers, actually, because
Okay,
they won that
yeah.
division. Packers are the top of that next level. So 5 would be the Packers.
Down to Tampa for a playoff game.
Right.
That sounds fun.
Yep. I think that's gonna be an interesting game. And then number 6 is the Cowboys, once again getting in to play the 49ers. That should be a fun wild card round, right? And then the last playoff team sneaking in at 7 is the Bears. I'm putting them in.
Wow, that
I
had
thought
to
about
hurt for
Rams.
you.
I thought about
That had to
Rams,
hurt for you.
but it does hurt.
That's
But I also
all
hope, like-
3 of us believe the Bears make the playoffs.
Well, I don't want to call me a homer. Now I want them to lose though.
Well, are you going to pick them to lose against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card
Well,
round? Is the question.
It's funny you asked that. I had the Bears upsetting the Eagles.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Now maybe
They
I'm
haven't won a road playoff game in my lifetime.
right now. Maybe I'm manifesting the reverse psychology. I don't know why. Crazy stuff happens in the playoffs.
This is outrageous.
7-2.
Wow.
Now I think
Did
that,
not have that one.
I
on
think
my
that
big
could
card.
happen. And then I'm gonna have the 49ers defeating the Cowboys. That might be it for Mike. Cowboys are gonna lose that, and I'm gonna have the Packers beating the Buccaneers. I'm not gonna let us go down there and lose. Now, you might be wondering what's gonna happen next. Okay, 49ers Packers divisional round.
Divisional round.
Packers are gonna win that game.
In Santa Clara.
It's
That's what
gonna
I'm
happen.
Talking about
It's gonna
finally
happen.
vanquish that demon.
That would leave Lions Bears at the 1-7, the divisional round. Lions will win that game, put an end to this Bears nonsense. So
Was there any part
Yeah.
of you before we get to who wins a
Wanted to match us
Lions
up?
Packers NFC Championship game? Was there any part of you that thought rematch of the 2010 playoffs, but this time at Lambeau? Or is that too nerve-wracking
no,
to give them back the ultimate U card that the
It-
Packers have of we won the trophy that's named after your famous owner in your stadium to
Right.
go to the Super Bowl?
I just think the chances of the 7-seed Bears beating the Eagles and the Lions is too much. So I would be wilding out at that point.
You would be wilding out at
And-
that
and
point.
so I'm not going to do that. So now it's not that I'm afraid of it. I just don't think it'll happen. It's going to be Lions Packers in the NFC Championship game. All right.
Okay.
I really wanted to do it.
Unbelievable.
I got Lions.
Unbelievable.
I wanted to do it, but I'm predicting it, and I think we're going to take that next step, Billy. I think this is an ascension for the Packers, sort of like the 90s. Maybe in 12 months, I might give you something different. I think we're going to take the next step and make it to the NFC Championship, but I don't think – I think there's a Lions time to get to the Super Bowl.
There's
And-
3 people on this radio show.
Sorry. I just –
3 have the Packers in the NFC title game.
we all do. Yeah.
Now, 2 of which,
Yeah.
the 2 on the air right now,
Right.
have them losing the NFC title game.
Right. Would be cool if they won.
It'll be an amazing run if they're in the NFC title game again.
Oh, I want that to happen.
I know many people say, I don't care about the NFC title game anymore. Well, guess what? It's as close as you can get to not getting there. I mean, you are one step away from the Super Bowl. That's what you can ask for. To be 60 minutes away from glory again.
Right.
And that's where we have the Green Bay Packers being. And
I
then
just
once
think-
again,
I
you know,
just-
our hearts getting ripped off.
I don't think that's our destiny this year, but I think in the future, I'm not saying the clock's going to strike midnight. Like, I just think
Oh,
it
wow.
It
Calling
will.
us a Cinderella here.
will. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably
That's
wrong.
what it sounds like. Okay. Okay. No,
But like
I
a
would think the
legit-
7th
like-
seed Bears would be the Cinderella.
like a
but
legit Cinderella. No, Bears are going to still lose in that round. We're not going to go
that's
crazy.
awesome. Brad Sheboygan.
Ravens,
Is Armin
Lions.
sick? I'm a Bears fan. I'm ready to call him out for his Bears hate, but now he's giving me an opportunity to love him.
No, I'm just
414 Jeff, stop drinking at work, Armin.
Well, I mean, okay, call me whatever you want. You would call me a homer if I didn't. So I'm just giving you a prediction. Maybe
No,
they're going to
it's-
go 9-8 and make the playoffs, and they could win a game.
Well, they're also calling you other things like Armin Rodgers back at it again. Jets are a dumpster fire.
No, listen, I get that. I knew that was going to be my wildest take of this whole predictions, my wildest prediction, excuse me. But I do believe I was mixing up prediction and projection.
Yeah.
I
well-
do believe the Jets, if Aaron's right and healthy, will be good. It's hard for me to think otherwise.
Me and a friend of mine may or may not have put down a very small $10 investment
On the Jets?
at 250 to 1.
That's a lot of money if you
for
win.
it to be the Green Bay Packers against the New York Jets, and the Packers beating the Jets in the Super Bowl.
All those things have to happen?
All those things have to happen for us to, slowly bring back.
Why not? It's got to be somebody.
$2,500.
Yeah, why not?
But if indeed that dream scenario of where Armin Sarian for 2 straight weeks in New Orleans is straight midnight, knowing the fact that there's an opportunity to put a Matt Schneidman unit in my bank account for just that small investment, it's worth it.
It's worth it, man.
That's the only time that I might be looking at a Schneidman betting unit.
The G?
I had to put betting unit in there.
Yes.
Yeah, betting unit.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Betting unit in there. 414-799-1973.
By the way, I got Ravens over Lions in the Super Bowl.
How did I just completely miss that
it's
after
okay.
dogging you for the Lions being the
because
victor?
There's a lot of content otherwise with that NFC Championship game. No, the Ravens are going to win it. They got to win it.
One.
I mean, it's not like I feel bad for them.
Do they win tonight?
I think they're deserving at some point.
Do they win tonight? That's the question to answer, and we'll try to do it coming up on the other side as we head into first game of the NFL season tonight. We'll hand it off to Mike Heller in less than 20 minutes from right now. He's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmid. This is Statewide, 9 to noon on the game. 9 to noon on the game inside the Iron Jock Studios. IronJOC.com is the website to go to. And you don't even have to ask for parental permission to go to ironjock.com. That used to always be the statement, ask for parental permission to go online, Armin. Sometimes that might have been a good thing. Get some permission to go on and think before you post. 414-799-1973. Iron Jock t-shirts, the best t-shirt on the planet. No body odor smell ever. And now through September 15th, when you buy 2 small logo tees, short sleeve t-shirts, you'll get a third free. All you got to do is put all 3 in your cart. That's the $39.99 item for free when you buy 2. Just enter all 3 into your cart, then enter t-shirt BOGO at checkout.
Let's go.
Go to ironjock.com for more details. That's ironjoc.com.
Chock full of good content in the show today, Billy. I loved all of it. I thought that I think the reaction to my picks is interesting. I expected some people not liking the Jets stuff, but I got one for Pop Rocks. I ain't leaving. He wants me to resign after those picks, quit my job. I ain't doing it, Pop Rocks. I'm not leaving.
So
I'm
quit asking.
Then he goes, nothing personal. Yeah, it's not personal. You should just quit your job because your takes are
You
bad.
just quit because you're so terrible at your job.
I just not gonna.
But I like
it's
it.
nothing personal, Armin. It's just the most personal thing I could say to you. No, I'm not leaving. Sorry, Pop Rocks. You might not like my picks. Maybe they're wrong. Whatever. Those are my predictions. We're picking football games here, people. It's not that serious.
I do like Dylan and Madison. I thought I'd get away from the Jets insanity when I stopped watching Get Up in the morning. So leave it to Armin to make sure I didn't miss it.
I don't like the Jets, but they can win the East. And I think the Bills are taking a step back. It might not happen, but guess what? It might. And guess what? That's what a prediction's all about.
The tough thing about the Bills, and you brought it up now, I was on the Bills' demise a year ago. Egg on my face. They very much could have been the representative of the AFC. They closed as well as any team did in football. Now, Josh Allen was maybe a little bit down numbers-wise. Production, especially towards the end of the season, was elite. They're going to have to play a lot different ways there in Buffalo this year. No Diggs, no Gabe Davis. Khalil Shakir, I think, is a good football player on the outside, high-volume receiver, but I don't know that he's the game breaker that you need on that offense. Maybe Keon Coleman is right away, but that's asking a lot of a rookie. And Matt Milano on defense out for the year. Big loss.
Yeah.
So is Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde in the back end. I mean, those two are 2 of the stalwart safeties in football. Them not being there in the back end of a team that was and still is coached by a defensive-minded head coach, that could be very interesting for Buffalo.
It's just so much Josh Allen on that team, which is good. He's really good, obviously. But it
They
just
ask a
feels
lot of
like
him, though. Yeah.
they've been teetering a little bit, I think, and they're asking a lot of him. We'll see what happens. I think they could take a step back as well. And he gets banged up a lot. How healthy will he stay? So.
That's fair. How about this one from the 414? Boss set aside 90 minutes for the company fantasy football draft that comes up in 10 minutes.
That's great stuff.
Hashtag blessed.
That's how you take care of your employees.
That
right
is
there.
good station or good company morale.
That is employee retention. That's how you do it right there. Okay.
I also hope, and this for our quick trip take of the day, because fantasy football is something that many people listening to this radio program know very near and dear to my heart. I'm a big fantasy football guy. Armin Sarian loves fantasy football
Absolutely.
too. Now, loved it enough last year to punt in the final game of the year and allow me to beat that candy ass and then go into the playoffs as the 6th seed and win the iHeart Station League.
I couldn't find my login. That's why I didn't have my the right players.
Armin, I believe had at least 1 to 2 positions where no players played. So I was very, very thankful for that.
I was really mad at myself for that. But you're right, that did happen. So congratulate. You would have beat me anyway.
I do just like, and I do wonder, Armin, if fantasy football in the workplace for our man at 414, it brings everybody together now.
We'll tear them apart later.
Does it end up tearing everybody in the office apart by November?
Well, what if you do one of those, whoever loses, punishments?
Shocker, Cindy didn't hit her numbers this year. 9-1 in fantasy.
Oh, one of those deals.
Surprising she's getting all of the waiver claims. Haven't seen her on a call once.
Yeah.
I just wonder if that could happen.
Her PowerPoints have been lacking, but she's sure on that waiver wire.
Sure, really good at fantasy. Beat me by 50 last week.
That's really weird, Johnson. You have the most transactions of anybody in our fantasy league this year, but you have the least numbers on our weekly calls. So for sales.
I wonder.
I don't know why I use
Come on,
Johnson.
Johnson.
Come on, Johnson.
414-799-1973. That's what the NicoletLaw.com talking text line provides us our quick trip takeaway of the day. Need something for dinner tonight. Don't Don't cook. Don't cook. There's football on. Stop at Quick Trip, pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. Armin, you might even find. Oh, God. That is awesome. I mean, that is a banner start to the NFL season, and it's only going to get better because tomorrow is a Packers game day.
Yep, indeed. Matt in Milwaukee, I'll give him the text, even though I probably shouldn't, but I'm not afraid. For the text of the day. This is the most hysterical picks in history. Armin should stay in the background and produce, and don't play with the big boys.
Wow, Matt.
Let's see.
All right.
All right. I'll be searching the dark parts of the internet for your predictions, Matt.
Yeah,
sure I'll
I'm
find
excited for his full unit plays coming up this weekend. Yeah, guarantee his W's.
Yeah, I had one or two surprises in there. Oh, it's the NFL. Okay, anything can happen.
He's got a YouTube page. Go and check it out.
Can't wait.
414-799-1973. We appreciate all of you on that NicoletLaw.com talking text line. It was great work, and we're going to do it again tomorrow, and we're going to get you ready for a Packers game day against the Philadelphia Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil, one day from now. Next, we hand it off to Mike Heller and just find a way over the next 21 hours to be better tomorrow. That's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. It's been 9 to noon on the game.